high school sports, there's so much more than just a game. This message presented by the Kansas State High School Activities Association and the Kansas Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
It's time for Hutchinson Salt Hawk Sports on BW Radio. This broadcast is brought to you by First National Bank, Next Tech Wireless, H&R Block, and the Medicine Shop. Salt Hawk Sports also brought to you by these Salt Hawk Boosters, Reno Alcohol and Drug Counseling Services, Jackson Meat, Chick-fil-A, Wynn Insurance Group, and I Need a Cleaners. Sideline reports are brought to you by Brown's Shoe Fit and Papa John's Pizza. Now your host, Glenn Grunwald.
Welcome to the Hutchinson Medicine Shop.
Hi, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Garden City, Kansas. Glenn Grunwald along with Dan Nacarado, and it is a little bit warm, but it's going to be game time temperature, about 81 degrees, but pretty breezy out of the southeast. Dan Nacarado is, we've been setting stuff up here and trying to watch that sun set and hope it sets quick and gets this wind knocked down a little bit.
The wind is blowing hard enough to mess up my hair tonight, and I don't have any hair.
That's just exactly how it is. All right, two teams, 0-2 on the year, and we're not sure if this series started in 1915. Coach Miller swears it did. He took the train out here, and it very well might have. And I just, first thing I went through my mind was how in the heck would they have got there back in 1915? You would have had a Model T, and that's about it. But this is a heck of a series, and then it rejoined it in 51, 52, and so forth.
We did get some confirmation from Coach Steve Miller that they did, in fact, play in 1915, and they took the train in order to travel. So that's a pretty interesting little tidbit. We certainly appreciate Coach Miller's Huddle Up Hutch history
book
that he authored, and we refer to that frequently.
No doubt about that. So, coming out here, there's a couple injuries we need to talk about that might affect the ball game tonight. Young Mr. Cahoon is banged up a little bit. He's had a boot on all week. Peyton Cahoon, not sure he's going to be seen at the defensive back spot.
Peyton Cahoon is a tough young man. He's an important part of that Salt Hawk defense. Apparently, he injured his calf muscle in the first half of the game against Wichita West, but he just was attempting to play through it. And this week, it caught up with him this week, and so they did make the decision that he better sit out this week and take whatever time he needs to get that calf muscle healed up. Taven Smith will play the free safety position tonight for Hutchinson.
Got one score to report early on. This was a Thursday game, actually. We had a couple Thursday games. Eisenhower got her to win her over Andover 20-14 in what they said the war on 54 is that what that was tabbed, and it was won by Eisenhower. And then also it was Wichita Southeast, the winner over Wichita North, 51 to 38. 51 to 38 was the final. Wichita Southeast winning in that matchup. So those are a couple scores we did want to pass on. This is important for both teams. We touched on a little bit, Dan, in the pregame, but it's so important. Kids from both teams struggling with an 0-2 start, situation where you go 0-3 and then you start to second-guess yourself a little bit.
When you're playing in a game against an opponent who has the same record that you have and has really experienced a similar issue with turning the ball over frequently and putting themselves in a hole, that makes for a great night of football. And both of these teams are definitely desperate to get a win tonight. And as we talked about in the pregame, it's not always about wins and losses, certainly at the high school level. However, it's hard to get a team motivated to practice hard every day when they're not picking up some wins as rewards for their efforts.
Yeah, with high school athletes, you're dealing with a fragile ego to some extent. I guess that's the best way to put it. Some kids get upset if they're not starting. Some kids don't care if they're not starting. Some kids like coming off the bench. And you see that maybe more in basketball than you do in football. It's something to run out there and hear your name introduced and all that good stuff. So we'll just have to see what takes place on the field. But one thing you pointed out in the pregame, Garden City turns the ball over a bunch too. Hutchinson's had their faults, but so has Garden City.
Hutchinson has had an issue with fumbling the football, Garden City has had an issue with throwing interceptions. 6 interceptions in 2 games. That's a ton of interceptions.
Again, we talked about what you're going to see out here. I think you're going to see both teams try to establish it by the ground. It's going to try to rush with the football. Garden City, a little more used to the wind out here than the Salthawks are. We're windy in Hutchinson too, but not as much. All 3 flags are down on the south portion of the stadium here, which, by the way, is a pretty new field. It's been out here for a few years. And in the pregame, I said that north and south. I meant east and west. The old field, which was over by which is now middle school, I believe, was in the east and west, which you rarely see in Kansas. This one is north and south, but those winds are fluttering pretty good, more than 5 miles per hour that our weather bug says.
Again, I don't have any hair to blow around, and even my hair is messed up. I'm looking down there at Joe Blake on the sideline, and I see he's got a lot of hair, and it's blowing in the wind.
Yeah, I'm going to go down to Joe Blake right now. Joe Blake brought to you by Brown Shoe Fit, the Shoe Fit Experience at 510 East 30th. Their number is 663-6991. Also, Papa John's Pizza, 501 East 17th. 665-7272 is their phone there. Joe, what's the atmosphere down there so far? Pretty electric?
Yeah, it's pretty electric down here. The Western Kansas crowd is ready to go tonight, despite the crazy winds, which I'm having to block with my clipboard coming from the south.
Yeah, you can do it. You're sounding really good. So, again, Joe brought to us by Papa John's and by Brown Shoe Fit. And your expectations down on that end, you're with these kids in school. What's their attitude been like in school this last week, Joe?
Well, they really want to get this one, as OW, because, in order to have a good season for the rest of the season, they really think that they need to get this one done.
Important to win game number 3 to here tonight. Of course, Joe Blake, a senior at Hutch High, sponsored on the sidelines by Brown Shoe Fit at 510 East 30th and Papa John's Pizza at 501 East 17th. Both fine establishments in Hutchinson.
Absolutely, and we certainly appreciate their support of our broadcast. Both teams did something a little bit different tonight. Both teams very late arriving to the sidelines. I'm wondering if it's kind of like 2 prize fighters.
Might be.
Neither one of them wants to go into the ring first.
Might be. So I'll tell you what, we're going to take a 1-minute timeout, and we'll come back and set the stage for you. Again, we're live out in Garden City as we get set to take on the Buffaloes in action in Garden City. We'll be back with more on the Salthawk Football Radio Network.
Welcome to the Hutchinson Medicine Shop. With the emergence of big business, not only in pharmacy, but all industries, the Medicine Shop is proud to be a thriving local business in Hutchinson. We're so thankful to our customers in Hutchinson, Reno County, and Central Kansas for your support. In turn, we're proud to be a major sponsor of the Hutch High Salthawks, as well as other area high schools, the Blue Dragons, Chiefs, Royals, Jayhawks, and Wildcats. You support us, and the Hutchinson Medicine Shop supports local sports.
Are you ready for a new smartphone, but you need a plus one? It's buy one, get one free time at Nextech Wireless. Activate any device and receive an iPhone XR or Samsung Galaxy S10e for free. Swing by a Nextech Wireless store today. Make the switch, get a great phone, and get a second great phone free. Oh, don't forget you'll get high-speed unlimited data and the best coverage, too. Besides, what's better than a new smartphone? Well, that would be getting a second one for free. Certain restrictions apply. See store for details.
All right, welcome back. We're just a minute away or so from the opening kickoff, and captains are meeting out at the center of the field right now. And of course, Dallas Chambers, there's the flip of the coin. Dallas Chambers, one of the Hutchinson captains. Also out there is Rogers. A couple of other players for the Salthawks at sea is Hunter Austin out there as well, and also Selden Jones. So we will get the explanation as to which way these teams will go and who will kick off and who will receive. And Hutchinson will be defending the goal to the south. And they won the toss. Hutch is deferring to the second half. And Hutch will kick off to Garden City. And we'll have the win behind us in this first quarter of play. Coach Knack, Glenn Grunwald, Dan Nacarado with you.
Captains for the Garden City Buffaloes, Lane Durst, a wide receiver and defensive back. Carlos Acosta, the quarterback. Fuji Charez, who plays offensive line, and he can squat 700 Let me get the right number here. 765-pound squat, and he is already committed to play football next year at Missouri Southern in the MIAA.
Okay.
Other captain for Garden City, number 31, Paul Perez, who is a running back and a linebacker.
I went down on the field trying to catch up with Brian Hill before the game. Was not able to spot him. I don't believe he was down there before, at least as early as we were down there. And we did catch the Salt Hawks as they're coming off the pre-dress workout, and caught up with Coach Vernon, and he was a fired-up coach, wasn't he? He's ready tonight. I know that.
There's some energy on this Salt Hawk football team. I've said it several times to a lot of people. I put it out on Twitter. Able to attend practice with the Salt Hawks on Wednesday. So impressive. This is a team where these guys just don't know how good they really are. They've had some hard luck turnovers. They take care of the football. They're going to find out what a good team they really are.
Valerial will get set to kick it off. They're going to put a couple people deep. One of them is going to be Eric Dominguez. He'll wear number 22 if you're watching on the stream, which, by the way, is on Salt Hawk Sports on YouTube. You just go to YouTube and put in Salt Hawk Sports. You'll catch up with it. And also another back there is Lane Durst, who's a wide receiver, the leading wide receiver for the Buffaloes. And we're about set to get underway as Villarreal will approach the ball, and this game is on its way. A little squib kick on the outside. It's going to be fielded at the 38-yard line. That's where they're going to mark it. So Hutchinson trying to kind of trick them a little bit, but a nice job on the cover-up by the Buffaloes.
Will Jarmer was able to cover that pooch kick.
We're waiting for, what do you think, Dan, about 20 minutes till that sun sets to the west?
Yeah,
we are really right straight in our eyes right now, so we apologize.
Wonderful facility here, but it is kind of difficult to see with the sun directly in our faces.
I make enough mistakes not to have to have the sun right in my face. It'll be Acosta at the quarterback spot, and he gives it off to the first man through, and carrying the football is going to be Joshua Janis. Pick up a 4, second down and 6 for the Broncbusters.
Taven Smith came up quickly from his free safety position to make that stop after just a 3-yard gain.
Make it 7. Second down and 7. They'll mark it at the 41. So the quick opener, good job defensively by the Salt Hawks, as Coach Nacarado just indicated. Glenn Grunwald, Dan Nacarado, along with Joe Blake on the sidelines, and joined by Sarah Peterson on the video camera for HutchPost.com, as well as Salt Hawk Sports YouTube channel, as well as the NFHS network that will be uploaded later tonight. Acosta, the quarterback, to turn in to give. Second man through. I believe that's going to be carry on Joshua Janis again on the carry.
Stop made by Hunter Austin, one of the captains for Hutchinson.
So far they're going with the tailback right there. They go with a
Power running formation. Both those first plays.
Got some size up front for the Buffaloes. They've had a tough start as well. Lost to Derby big time, and then lost last week on the road at Valley Center.
Hutchinson wearing the white jerseys with blue numbers on black pants tonight.
Yeah, good looking.
They really are good looking uniforms. Garden City wearing the brown jerseys with white numbers and the gray pants.
That carry a second ago by Janis gave him a first down. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 49. The Buffalo 49s, the Garden City in their own territory.
Power formation again.
They'll come up solid. Center is Christian Benitez, and ball's loose. No, check that. Nice stoppage right at the line of scrimmage. Ball was not loose. Same ball carrier, Janis, and he's
their leading rusher this season.
Yeah, no gain on the play. They'll mark it second down and 10.
Janis is averaging about 85 yards a game. Hunter Austin again with another stop, and that one was right at the line of scrimmage. From his linebacker position, he came up and filled the gap with authority.
Hutchinson trying to fill that up front. Morgan's on that nose guard position, ready to get after it.
Garden City is taking some time and relaying the plays in.
Play clock down to 2. They got to go. Acosta gives it off. It's Janis on the carry, and he's going to wrap up. But the pile carries forward. Let's see where his forward stop will be. A good pickup of about 6 yards as he kept churning, but the pile actually moved him forward.
Really
I'm not sure he was doing the churning.
Looked like a rugby scrum.
But it'll be 3rd down and 3.
Hunter Austin with his 3rd tackle already in this game. However, that one he had to have a little help from his friends as Janis just kept churning those legs and picking up a little bit more yardage after contact.
Garden City football at the Hutchinson 44, 3rd down and 3 from the 44. They're taking their time. This is not a quick hitting offense. You remember a few years ago we came out here and they did have a quick hitting offense. Acosta down in their center. The turn and the give again to Jonas. Trying to go left side. Stop! Nice play out there by the Salthouse. Coming up for the stop was Taven Smith.
Taven Smith is coming up strong from that free safety position. Also had a little bit of help that time from Devin Hackney.
All right, facing 4th and 1. Let's see if they're going to go for it or they're going to punt the football away. Brian Hill's letting the clock wind down before he sends Acosta in with a play. Now he sends him in.
You know what Coach Brian Hill is doing, Glenn, is since Garden City is going into that stiff wind,
they're going to eat some time
he's eating
here.
Clock and figuring, hey, we'll just control the ball
exactly
while the
what
wind
he's
is
doing.
against us.
Nice observation, Dan. That's why we bring you along on these trips. You know that, don't you? Here we go. The give on the outside. He's not there. I think the Salthawks have stopped them on 4th down.
That's close. It's very close.
Smith up there to make the hit again. It is extremely close, and they got a nice spot out of it, and it will be a 1st down.
Gosh, it was close.
Man, I really thought they had the stop made, but they gave it up to the 41, and they'll mark it right at the 41. So 1st and 10 for the Buffaloes.
Garden City, a team that usually likes to throw the ball about 1 out of every 3 plays, has exclusively run the ball into this stiff wind.
7:53 to go in this first quarter play, and you're exactly right. They're eating time up, as much time as they can take off that clock to try to get that wind to their back, because it is brisk out of the south here tonight in Garden City. Acosta down under center. It's the snap, the turn to Jonas. The stop in the backfield is going to be made. A big time stop by the Salthawks.
That was Dylan Peterson from his outside linebacker position coming hard into the backfield and collecting the tackle for a loss.
Hunter Austin out there as well getting a hit. Drops him back for 2. So 2nd down and 12 now for Acosta and the Buffaloes of Garden City.
Buffaloes, for the first time, are going with a spread formation. Could be a pass.
Yeah, they'll split wideouts left and right with a slot on the right side. Acosta stamps his foot. Here's a high snap to give it to Jonathan. It's a running play around the left side. He's got some room down to the 30. Tight ropes the sideline, and they say he stepped out of bounds. They're going to mark it around the 27-yard line. A nice pickup of 16, however, for Janus.
Janus was able to get the edge. The Buffaloes did a good job of sealing off the Hutchinson Salthawks. Almost went for a touchdown.
Just about did. Janus, good-looking running back. As he turned that corner, he tied the tightrope that sideline, but did step out of bounds. They'll mark it officially at the 28. So 1st and 10 Buffaloes at the 20. Well, I would say 27-yard line is what they show on the board. And I'll go with that. Ball on the right hash mark. High snap. The turn.
Same play.
Same play exactly. Jonas this time has stood up, gets a yard and a half down to the 25. I said right hash mark. Actually, it was left hash mark. This is a beautiful stadium here. They built brand new high school. They've kind of got a one-way road going all the way around it. Parking over on the west side for the home team. And
that Garden City student section is full from the bottom row to the top row.
It is packed on that far side. All right, Acosta, the quarterback. He has Jonas on his left hip. He splits wideouts left and right. See what he does here on 2nd down and 8. He'll keep it himself. Goes up the middle. It's going to be upended. Nice job by Hutchinson getting in there very quickly. It looked to be Martinez that tripped him up. Emilio Martinez was able to get a hold of him. So 3rd down and about 5 to go, Dan.
Pretty big hole on that quarterback draw. Good thing Martinez came up and tripped up the quarterback Acosta for just a 5-yard gain or so.
Ball at the 22. Board says 3rd down and 5. I think it's more like 3rd down and 4.
Yeah,
so we'll check it here.
That's definitely shorter than 5.
Acosta for Garden City. Stomps his foot. Wants to run the option. He'll keep it himself, and He'll be dropped right at the 20, so pick up of maybe 2, another 4th down call.
Yeah, that's Josiah Morgan from his defensive tackle position making a good tackle. And here's what was so good about it, Glenn. That was speed option, and the quarterback was reading Josiah Morgan.
Was.
So you thought he would have pitched it, but Morgan made a sure tackle before the quarterback could pitch it.
I called option on the play, and it looked like he was going to pitch it, decided not to. So 4th and 3.
On an option play, the quarterback always is reading one of the defensive players, and Morgan was the player that he was reading, and he just ran right into him and got tackled.
And I think they're going to perhaps take a timeout and talk things over. Wow. Play clock down to 2. Now it's down to 1. That's what they're going to do.
Down to 4:40 remaining in the first quarter.
They're going to take a little time to chat about it, Dan. With 4:40 to go in this first quarter of play, Garden City's 4th and 30 on their own 20-yard line. We'll wait and see if they kick a field goal. We'll be back right after this.
Getting the most back from your tax return starts with getting the most expertise. H&R Block has more enrolled agents than any other tax preparation company, and we guarantee the accuracy of every return prepared by our tax professionals. We find every credit and deduction to lower your tax bill. Put our expertise to work on your return, and don't just get your taxes done, get your taxes won. In Hutchinson, Lyons, and Ellsworth.
Welcome back to Garden City. Glenn Grunwald, Dan Nacarado, 4:40 to go in the first quarter play. 4th down and 3 on the Hutchinson 20 for Garden City, and they're determining whether or not they're going to try to kick the field goal or whether or not they're going to try to go for it. The decision, the tough one, is because you're going into a really brisk southeast wind that's coming into the stadium.
Plus, the ball is on the left hash marks, and the hash marks are wider in high school football than they are in college.
I guess they're going to think, hey, you know what? It's on the 20 right now. We're just going to take our chances here and try to pick up the first down. Acosta, the turn to give to Jonas around the left side, and he'll be met by a bunch of Salt Hawks, and they say, no way, and Hutchinson takes over on downs. Good job by the Salt Hawks. One of the first ones out there, Hunter Austin got a hand on him.
Hunter Austin got in the backfield and actually tackled Janus for a loss on that play. That's a huge 4th down stop by the Hutchinson Salt Hawks defense.
Joe Blake had some good looking on it right there as Austin just fought through some blockers.
Yeah, Hunter Austin came to play tonight, that's for sure.
Joe Blake's comments brought to you by Brown Shoe Fit Company, 410 East 30th, as well as Papa John's Pizza. Dallas Chambers, the quarterback now. Hutchinson with the football. They'll send Barlow in motion, give it off to the first man through, and that's going to be McEwen. He's going to spin forward and pick up about 3 yards.
That is a little bit different look for the Salt Hawks because McEwen normally plays a slot back. Coach Vernon gave him an opportunity to carry the ball from the fullback position on that play.
I was being very conservative. 2nd down and about 2 to go. He picked up a nifty play right there of 8 yards over that left side. So Barlow will be at the right slot. McEwen at the left slot now. Chambers down under center. Wideouts left and right. Rogers in motion. Pulls back now.
That's called a freeze check. You hope to pull your opponent off sides.
Here he goes again. The turn. This time he gives to McEwen again. He goes against the grain across the 30 to the 40 and forward all the way to the 43-yard line. They'll move the chains. 1st down to Hutchinson.
Hutchinson, the offensive line play has been very good in both of the first 2 games. It's just been a matter of Salt Hawks have fumbled the football early. Not tonight.
That's a play that takes a little bit of time to develop. That left slot coming around and going against the grain back to his left on an angle. He was able to follow that offensive line and was getting some blocks downfield. 1st and 10, Hutchinson. Ball on the 44.5-yard line. Back to passes, Chambers. Across, caught at the midfield and spun to a stop at the 48.
Kinzer Newquist with the reception.
Newquist comes up with a catch.
And the pass protection was excellent. That offensive line, Levi Allen, Chase Kepler, Caden Pennington, Tyler Robinson, Jonathan Fan, and Kyler Burnett at the tight end position.
Picks up 8 yards. 2nd down to 2. 2:56 to go. Quarter 1. No score as of yet if you just dialed in. So glad to have you along this evening on KWBW, Hutchinson, Kansas. The pitch on the outside. Rogers one man to get around the edge over there, not quite able to do it. He falls back to the 50. He'll lose a couple yards. It'll bring up a 3rd down and 4.
Defensive back Zane Burns for the Garden City Buffaloes read that rocket toss immediately, got deep into the backfield, and messed up the play.
I think if you look at any film on Hutchinson, you see successful plays, you're going to see the rocket toss. Each and every year has been a successful play for Hutchinson, so you're going to key on something out there. They keyed very well. 2:17, clock moving away now. 3rd down and 2 is what they say.
Right over formation.
Here to keep by the quarterback across the 45, stretches down to the 44, and it will be enough for the 1st down. They'll move the chains. So Hutchinson on the march. Can they still score with the wind at their back? 2 minutes to get it done.
And you definitely like to put it in the end zone while you could kick the extra point with the wind at your back instead of having to attempt it into this brisk wind.
Quite a ways away from the red zone yet with 1:55 to go.
I'm the optimist. I'm assuming they're going to put it in the end zone.
You're the ultimate optimist. Never met a man more positive than Dan Nacarado. Chamber under center. He'll keep it, rolls to the right side, stutter steps a little bit across the 40, and slides his way to the 34. I think he has another 1st down. They'll stop the clock. It should with 1:33 to go. They have not indicated that it was a 1st down.
That option carry by Dallas Chambers, that displayed some maturity on his part, because young quarterbacks always want to drift to the sideline.
It will be a 1st down. It stops the clock with 1:30. Now listen, Dan, about 5 seconds went off that clock when they're deciding.
Yeah.
And that's just high school football.
I think Coach Vernon was giving the official an earful about that very fact.
I think so. Now it starts up again when they reset the
But you love the
flag.
way Dallas Chambers turned upfield and picked up yards.
Ball at the 34 of Garden City. Chambers to turn to give first man through. That's going to be McEwen still pulling forward across the 30 down to about the 26-yard line, mark it at the 25.
McEwen's helmet got ripped off. He felt like there should have been a face mask called, so Alec McEwen will have to come out of the game for a play.
He will check out of the contest, and Hutchinson will substitute. Newquist out of there as well. 1:06 to go in the quarter. No score as of yet, but Hutchinson marching down the field. Garden City penetrated all the way to the 21-yard line before they went for it on 4th down and did not get it.
Both teams playing good football right now.
Chambers down under center. Looks to the sideline. Now he gets set. Cantu in there. The turn to give to Cantu, straight up the middle. He's going to keep it. Goes to the outside, slides on the outer perimeter, gets all the way down to the 15.
Good game. Good game by Cantu.
46.3 seconds to go. He'll stop the clock in this first quarter of play. 1st and 10 for Hutchinson on the 14.
Damon Cantu with the big 1st down pickup. Wobbled the football just a little bit, but he was able to secure it.
Ball's right at the 14. Late substitution comes into the lineup. Checking in is going to be Burnett, Kyler Burnett.
McEwen's back at fullback.
They'll put Burnett in motion. Left to right, sets up on that right side. Chambers, the turn to give to McEwen. He's met at the line of scrimmage, but falls forward to about the 5.
Like the way these Hutchinson football players are willing to play whatever position the coaching staff feels like they can make the most contributions for. Barlow has moved to the slot back position some snaps. McEwen's moved to the fullback position some snaps. 2nd
down and 6 from the 10-yard line for the Salthawks. And a timeout's going to be taken. We'll get a break in as well. Well, it's the end of the quarter. We'll go to the second quarter of play. No scores of yet, but Hutch on the drive. We'll be back with more on the Salthawk Radio Network.
Hutchinson High School Sports is on the air thanks to these outstanding Salthawk boosters. Portfolio Recovery Associates, The Shirt Shack, where the shirt hits the fans. Randy Smith of Apple Lane Animal Hospital. Ryan and Robin Swanson of Phoenix Restoration. Kathy McCormick of Wynn Insurance Group. Reno Alcohol and Drug Counseling Services. The Hutchinson Clinic. Chick-fil-A. Salon B. I Need a Cleaners. And Jackson Meat. Hutchinson High School and Eagle Radio Sports say thank you for your support.
Welcome back. We started the second quarter of play as the Salthawks are on the drive now. Now they'll be headed to the south, and they'll have that wind in their face, but it's starting to die down just a bit. Not a lot yet. Sun waiting to set. We're kind of being blinded by it, but they're going to have the ball. Second down to 6 on the 10-yard line.
I'd like to see Hutchinson put the ball in the end zone for a touchdown and then convert a 2-point conversion and jump out to an 8-0 lead.
Hutchinson took it from their own 22 after they stopped Garden City on a 4th down and 3 call. Now let's set up, and we're set to go with the second quarter of play. Had a moment of silence for a long-time booster out here at Garden City. This is a very, very nice gesture. All right, Chambers, the quarterback. Ball on the right hash mark, sends McEwen in motion. Chambers will keep it, rolls it underneath, angles to his left side, into the end zone. Sohawk, touchdown.
Outstanding play. That was the double option as opposed to the triple option. There was no pitchback. The pitchback was used as a lead blocker. That was McEwen leading the way through the hole, all the way to the end zone for Dallas Chambers and the Hutchinson Salthawks.
Looked pretty good, didn't it, Joe Blake?
Yes, sir, and we are still out there for the extra point as opposed to the 2-point conversion.
Yep,
despite the win.
Going to go for the Villarreal kick. It'll be Dallas Chambers holding. Thank you, Joe. Joe's comments brought to you by Brown Shoe Fit and Papa John. And they'll get set to toe the mark. 6-0 Hutchinson with 11:53 to go in this first quarter. Here comes the try for the point after. Kick is down. It's up and on its way, and way off its mark to the right. Wide right, and it is no good. So 6-0, your score at the start of the first quarter of play. We'll be back for the kickoff from the Salthawks when we return right after this word on the Salthawk Radio Network.
In need of a business loan? With the First, you are promised personal service and commercial lending. Whether your business is just getting started or you're ready to expand, the First has solutions to help make your business successful. We're first for you. Find out how our loan experts can help. Visit fnbhutch.bank to get started or stop into a location nearest you. First National Bank of Hutchinson, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Welcome back. 11:53 remaining to go in this second quarter of play. We're just underway in the second quarter. 6-0 Hutchinson. Joe reported that the laces were out on the kick. Something had to be wrong because it was short and off to the right side.
Keep in mind, that wind is like an extra player on the defense. It's like you're going against 12 or 13 guys when you're facing that stiff of a breeze.
I know that we'd like to have that kick back, and maybe we will. Hutchinson ready to kick off. Now, look what might happen because you're going to see Stampede here, and Garden City's ready for it.
Yeah, and the furthest guy back for Garden City is at the 20-yard line.
Yeah,
they ran up and stopped, and now they get set.
With that wind blowing the way it is, it's probably not likely to be a very deep kick.
I think you just rip it and do it like a sidewinder kick here and just get the bounce. Do a squib kick. Here we go. Villarreal. He'll pooch it, end over ends. Fair catch is going to be called for at about the 34-yard line. And fair catch was called for, and Filibiera made the catch. And that's where the Buffaloes will start.
That first quarter of play, Hutchinson gained 61 yards on 8 plays. Garden City gained 41 yards on 12 plays. Most importantly, Hutchinson scored first play of the second quarter.
Yeah, no kidding. 6-0 Hutchinson with 11:53 to go in this second quarter of play. So Costa will still be the quarterback. This time, he's in the shotgun. The turn, ball fumble, loose on the ground, trying to get to it. And the Garden City player, I believe, got to it. That was like in slow motion. There was a Salthawk going forward, and he just couldn't get his legs moving in time.
And not very many of the Hutchinson players even saw the ball was on the ground. I believe Acosta came from about 12, 15 yards away to recover that fumble.
I was looking at it through my binoculars. It's laying on the ground. It's just like about a golden goose, and they're going, oh, and they just can't just respond quick enough to get to it. And Acosta slid in and made a possession. So the ball at the 39 actually made a couple yards. Second down and 5. Fumbled it forward. Acosta, running back left side in motion. That's going to be a man in motion, illegal procedure. Is what's going to be the call against Garden City. That'll mark it back 5. And State at second and 10.
The Buffaloes picked up 5 yards on that fumble as the ball was bouncing around on the turf, and now they're going to give back those 5 yards because of a penalty.
11:07 to go, second quarter of action. Again, so glad to have you along on KWBW 1450 AM and 98.6 FM. Don't forget, you can also go on the live stream or also go on your Alexa apparatus or tune in radio. There's all kinds of ways to pick up the Salt Hawks when you're out of town or halfway around the world even. Acosta. Belt high snap, gives it to first man through, and again, that's going to be number 21 out there, Joshua Janus, plowing through the line and gain about a couple yards.
Very well played by the Hutchinson defense.
3rd and 8's the call. Yeah, they're packing that middle up pretty good.
That defensive line, Phillips, Waymeyer, Morgan, and then the linebackers, Hover and Austin, they're doing a nice job plugging all the gaps up front.
All right, back in the shotgun again, Acosta. He's got Janus on his left hip. Wide receivers on the left side and right. Back to pass, Acosta, little screen pass. Caught over and on the outside flat and then quickly brought to a halt. The stop was out there by Reyes, Christian Reyes. Little junior was stopped by Martinez after a pickup of maybe 6, 4th and 4.
Emilio Martinez was out there on an island on that play. He had to give him a little bit of a cushion, and then he came up strong to make the stop. Kinzer Newquist is going to be deep to field this punt, and my goodness, look how deep he is.
Yes, Newquist is way back at the 15, and they're punting. Line of scrimmage is the 40. Here's the punt. End over end kick.
Good punt.
And it'll let a bounce. It'll take a sideways bounce. And then Newquist says, hey, I got to get to it, and he does. That's a dangerous play. Ends up being the same result because they were going to down it back there. It's on about the 5.
Yeah, good job by Kinzer Newquist to secure the football. Not sure that is the decision that Coach Vernon wanted Kinzer to make after the ball bounced around a couple of times, but it all worked out fine.
He was back at about the 15, but that ball, he kind of came up on a little bit and then sailed on him all the way back and hit at the 10, then took a sideways bounce. It's marked right at about the 6. So 1st and 10 for Hutchinson, but as well as Hutch moved the ball on their first possession, this shouldn't be a problem. Glenn Grunwald, Dan Nacarado, 6-0. Hutchinson, 9:21 to go, second quarter action. Hutchinson on top of Garden City. Turn to give straight ahead running. Little or no gain, maybe a yard and a half. Rogers on the carry. Let's see where the official usually marked the football, and we'll give him a little forward progress. So pick up of one at least. 2nd down and 9 to call. Go ahead, Dan.
I was just going to say, this is where Hutchinson just needs to stick with their offensive game plan. Regardless of where you're starting the drive, do the things that you do best.
And our game plan is to get that sun to set in the west here quicker. It's just about there, or at least down behind the bleachers. By the way, stay tuned.
Going to call a timeout here.
Coach Vernon's going to call a timeout. We'll take a timeout as well. As with the score, Hutchinson 6, the Buffaloes 0. 8:39 to go in the second quarter play. This is the Salt Hawk Radio Network.
It's football season, when the weather is warm one day and cold the next. Stay ahead of cold and flu season by drinking plenty of liquids, getting enough rest, and keeping your hands sanitized. Come see the friendly folks at Ashcraft Pharmacy, your locally owned Health Mart pharmacy, for over-the-counter medications to help alleviate symptoms. And if you need a prescription, we offer free mail-out, free delivery, or call ahead for our handy curbside service. Go Salt Hawks! From Ashcraft Pharmacy in the Hart Shopping Center, South Hutchinson, and Health Mart, caring for you and about you.
Second quarter of play. 2nd down and 10 for the Salt Hawks. Ball on their own 6-yard line.
Salt Hawks definitely want to pick up a few first downs just to win the field position battle, if nothing else, because you don't want to have to punt from deep in your own territory against that 20-mile-an-hour wind.
I'll tell you what, I said 6, and that's what the scoreboard says. It's more like 8, so give them a little bit of credit there. So 2nd down and 8. Moves the man in motion. Dallas Chambers, the quarterback. Gives it off to McEwen. They're on top of him this time. He turns his way forward, though, out to the 10-yard line. And got a couple yards.
Good defense by the Garden City Buffaloes. They really plugged all the gaps that time.
3rd down and 7 right at that point. So key 3rd down play coming.
Now, one thing that we saw on that play, Hutchinson went in motion and overloaded one side of the field. Garden City made no adjustments to the motion, so the Salt Hawks can outnumber the Buffaloes. Look for them to go. Look for Hutchinson to go left this time.
Chambers sends a man in motion and give it to the first man through, and they pile him up. It could be close to the first down. Let's see the actual mark. Looks like it's going to be right at the 13-yard line.
Going to be a little bit short.
Going to be a little bit short, so 4th down and a couple, I believe. So 3-yard pickup by Hutch.
But there's no doubt in my mind that the Hutchinson Salt Hawk coaching staff saw the same thing that I saw. So keep that in your hip pocket for future reference, that Garden City is not adjusting to the overload.
Villarreal will be back to punt. Now, this is an important punt with 7:20 to go. We talked about Garden City eating up some time. Now, Villarreal, as they called a timeout, and Coach Vernon wants to talk things over. So we'll get
they're going to put the offense on the field.
They're going to put the offense on the field, and he's going to go for it, so let's keep it here.
What do we got, 4th and 3?
Exactly. I think that's what we're looking at. 4th and 4, 4th and 3. Joe, if you get a good angle on it, what's it look like?
Yeah, we got 4th and 3.
So 4th down and 3, the ball on the 12-yard line.
High school football, you're taking a pretty big risk. Anytime you just have the long snap in high school is not near as dependable as what you're going to see at the college.
Yeah, a lot of things can go wrong, especially with the wind being the wind the way it would be. I think if they punted, Garden City would get excellent field position. But at the same time, if you don't make it, boy, you got them in the red zone. So this is going to be a risky play right here.
Look for Hutchinson to at least attempt at first to pull Garden City off sides and get the first down by way of penalty.
So see if you see some hard barking here going by Dallas Chambers. Try to draw that defensive line off or not.
Hard to do coming out of a timeout when Coach Hill just warned his entire team not to jump off sides.
Exactly. 7:15 to go in this second quarter of play. Hutchinson leading it 6-0. Hutchinson deep in their own territory going for it with 4th down and 3.
All right, there was the freeze check.
They did the hard count. We had a flag fly.
Might be against Hutchinson.
If it's against Hutchinson, that'll make the decision to punt a little bit easier. False start will be what it is. So evidently it was maybe on Dallas, maybe too hard of a hard count.
As a coach, it just drives you crazy when you're trying to pull your opponent off sides and then your own team jumps off sides.
So that'll back it up, and it'll be 4th down. They have 1st and 10 on the board, but that's not correct. They're not taking over on downs. It's 4th down, and Hutchinson will punt the football away. 4th and 3.
There was
4th and 8.
That false start was called against the Hutchinson tight end.
Villarreal, low snap, gets the kick away, however, and it'll take a Hutchinson bounce, but it goes back to Garden City. They'll mark it at the 24.
That's why it was a good decision to at least try to draw Garden City off. Now, Hutchinson was going to run a play after Garden City did not jump and get into the neutral zone, but unfortunately, we'll never know how that might have turned out.
7:08 to go in the second quarter. Garden City with excellent field position on the 23 of Hutchinson. They're going from the south to the north, or our left or right, as you watch on the Salt Hawk Sports video stream on YouTube. Acosta. It's got a new man in there at that running back spot, and he'll turn and he will give it to Dominguez, and Dominguez is going to be stacked up right away.
Very sure tackle by Josiah Morgan.
So Morgan came up on Dominguez. Dominguez, one of his first carries, because he went with Janis the whole first quarter.
And Janis has been their guy for the first 2 games.
2nd down and 9. Actually, it looks to me like 2nd down and 10 from the same spot. So they'll mark it at the 23. This time, Dominguez sets up on Acosta's left. They got slot formation on the left. They're going to throw it out there. Catch is made, but the stop not yet made. Hutchinson trying to get to him and finally wrap him up. First tackle missed. The pass is complete to the outside to Reyes.
Martinez was out there on an island with man-to-man coverage in the flat. He did a good job of stopping the forward progress and slowing him down enough for his teammates to come rally to the ball.
Still stays at 3rd and 9, so they only picked up a yard on that little pass play to the left side.
What was so impressive was how 9 Salt Hawk defensive players end up being part of that tackle.
Yeah, they swooped to the ball. Back to pass to Costa. Goes to the left side. Catch is made. Knocked out of bounds at the 10-yard line. That'll be a first down.
That's Lane Durst with the reception.
So that'll move the chains. It'll be right at the 10-yard line. So basically 1st and goal from the 10.
And it will officially be 1st and goal.
Yep, 1st and goal is what it'll be. Joe Blake on the sidelines, courtesy of Brown Shoe Fit at 410 East 30th, as well as Papa John's Pizza at 501 East 17th. Acosta gives it off this time to Dominguez. His play is going to be red on the outside, but then he gets away from a couple players. Might have picked up the ball on the floor, but they say, and on the turf, but they say his knee had hit the turf.
Salt Hawks are rallying to the football. In 2004, the first year that Hutchinson went on that streak of state championships, the defensive rallying cry was, "Meet me at the ball." And that's exactly what the Hutchinson Salt Hawks are doing defensively right now.
And Dominguez was able to get away from a defender and stretch it about 3 yards, takes it down to the 7-yard line. So 2nd down and 6 from the 7. Actually, it's 2nd down and 7 from the 7 because the ball was right at the 10-yard line.
Timeout.
Timeout's going to be taken, so they're going to get a break, and we will as well. 5:03 to go in the second quarter of play. It's Salt Hawks 6, Garden City nothing, but Garden City knocking on the Salt Hawks door. Dan and I'll be back on the Salt Hawk Radio Network.
Forward. Always moving. Never stagnant. Together. Nothing great is ever accomplished without it. At Fee Insurance Group, we've been working side by side with our clients for more than a century. Together with individuals, organizations, and communities, we look ahead to protect the people, places, and things they love. We're Fee Insurance Group. Forward. Together.
In the second quarter of play, Hutchinson leading 6-0. Garden City, though, knocking on the door with a 2nd down and 6 of their own.
Run formation.
It is a run formation. The give on the left side and trying to inch toward the goal line. They're going to be stopped at about the 4, so a pickup of about 3. So 3rd down and, let's say right at 4, Hauber on the stop. 3rd and goal from right in between the 4 and 3-yard line.
This would be huge if Hutchinson will be able to come up with a stop here for the next 2 snaps.
A break huddle, Garden City. Those are the double tight end set. Running formation here. Here's Acosta up under center. Well, he tries to sneak it, and he takes it down close to the goal line, but I don't believe he got in.
He tried to run behind Fuji.
I tried to run behind Fuji, too, if I was Mr. Acosta. 4th down and a yard coming up.
Fuji Charez, the 6'1", 300-pound left guard who can squat 765 pounds. And Garden City felt like, let's just see if he can drive it back into the end zone.
That's about 5 Joe Blakes. That's what that is. Right, Joe?
All right. That's okay.
4th down and 1. Give my buddy Joe a hard time. 3:45 to go in this second quarter play. Garden City on the drive, trying to tie up the Salt Hawks here on 4th down.
Don't be surprised to see the same play.
Acosta under center to turn. He gives it away to Jonas, and he's into the end zone for the touchdown. 6-6 tie. Well, that time the big back came over that left side. Just right between the guard and center. And with 3:32 to go in this second quarter of play, we're tied at 6.
Even though Garden City got it in the end zone, the defense for Hutchinson really played well. Remember, Garden City got the ball to start that series on the Hutchinson 23-yard line. and Hutchinson made Garden City work for every single yard of that.
Snap and holding. Out there is going to be Jarmer. Ball is down. Kick is on its way, and it is no good. And we remain tied at 6 with 3:32 to go in the second quarter of play. We will await the Garden City kickoff when we come back. With 3:32 to go in the second quarter, we're all tied up at 6 apiece. Back for more football on the Salt Hawk Football Radio Network right after this.
Hi, Kansas. This is Jess at Pools Plus. Another great year at the Kansas State Fair has come and gone, and here at Pools Plus, we have decided to extend the fair sale on all of our in-stock spas and outdoor furniture through the end of September. We appreciate all of our loyal customers, and we strive on continuing to be the first choice in all of your pool, spa, and outdoor furniture needs. Come in and take advantage of the after-fair specials going on through September at Pools Plus, 21 East 1st in downtown Hutchinson.
Welcome back to Garden City, everybody. It's 6-6 tie with 3:32 to go in the second quarter of play. Glenn Grunwald, Dan Nacarado with Joe Blake on the sidelines. Sarah Peterson up on the camera, bringing you all the action to you on the Salt Hawk Sports at YouTube channel as well as on NFHS Network a little bit later tonight. We'll upload that if you wish to watch it on that. I always like to go home and watch it over again, Dan.
I like watching it
see what all I missed.
I'd like to do the same thing with Blue Dragon football.
Exactly, same
fun.
thing. All right, we're tied up at 6. Both teams have missed extra points. The difference in this one is Garden City had the wind at their back. So, again, Dvorak will kick it off. He'll be the kicker for Garden City, and his ball will go into the end zone and just let it go for a touchback. Salt Hawks will set up stage.
Thank goodness
on the touchback.
Thank goodness there were some barriers behind the goalpost, or that ball still might be rolling to the north.
You know, actually, this facility is set down a little bit to try to protect from the wind. By no means is it in a bowl or anything. And we're actually on the east side. Now the sun is set. I can quit griping. Sarah can too upstairs as she was fighting that.
And it's
you ever try to find your cursor on a computer when you're trying to?
That's hard.
Huh?
That's difficult.
You know, I make those big, those big 2-inch cursors.
And it's a beautiful colored sunset.
It is. Beautiful night out in western Kansas. Little fluffy clouds up there. Here, Salt Hawks, Chambers, first man through. And is that McEwen? I think he's fighting for it. Nope, it's going to be Cantu. So Cantu gain of about 5, a little over that. We'll mark it at 6. Ball will be on the 26. Nice job by Cantu.
Damon Cantu has a history of always running hard. He's one of those guys that always finds a way to gain another yard or two after you think he stopped.
Chambers, they break center. Caden Pennington leads them up to the line of scrimmage. And now we're set offensively. Slide in motion. That's going to be McEwen. He gets the ball on the rocket toss, and it's read nicely. Loss of a couple on the play, and I'll mark it up to 24. Garden City has that one read.
Garden City has come prepared to stop the rocket toss.
Third down at 6.
Terrell Elliott was all over that.
Yeah,
Terrell Elliott, the 6', 265-pounder. He's just a sophomore, but he made a sure tackle that time.
Garden City Bronchbuster band in one whole section of the far side and student section as well over there. Well-attended ball game. We talked about that on the pregame. It's the only game in town. They don't mind fighting, private schools or another high school. To give to Chambers, he goes nowhere. He couldn't even get on track. They were back quickly in their backfield to get a hold of him, and dropping him for a loss was Munoz.
Not 100% sure. That might have been a little bit of a broken play. Looked like Chambers hesitated a little bit and just tried to get what he could.
For 4th and 6, that's going to talk things over again. I believe they are.
Coach Vernon is probably, he's going to consider going for it.
And by Garden City took the timeout. We'll get a break in. We'll be back with more. With 1:56 to go before halftime, we're tied at 6 apiece. Punt time for the Salt Hawks. 4th and 6 on the 24. This is the Salt Hawk Radio Network.
Hutchinson High School Sports is on the air thanks to these outstanding Salt Hawk boosters. Portfolio Recovery Associates, The Shirt Shack, where the shirt hits the fans. Randy Smith of Appalachian Animal Hospital. Ryan and Robin Swanson of Phoenix Restoration. Kathy McCormick of Wynn Insurance Group. Reno Alcohol and Drug Counseling Services. The Hutchinson Clinic. Chick-fil-A. Salon B. I Need a Cleaners. And Jackson Meat. Hutchinson High School and Eagle Radio Sports say thank you for your support.
Run if you go for it. It looks like Hutchinson will go for it with 1 minute and 56 remaining to go in his second quarter of play.
It's a good call. Against this win, you're not going to get more than about 15 yards out of a punt anyway.
4th and 6. Hutch's got to get to the 31 for the first down. They'll send a man in motion. Chambers gives it. First man through. Turning. That's Barlow. He stood straight up. Maybe got a couple yards. Taking over on 4th down will be Garden City.
Hutchinson went to the option, and when you call for the option, you have to read the defense and take what the defense gives you. In that particular case, the defensive tackle did not squeeze down on the fullback, so Chambers gave it to the fullback, and he just didn't have very many. It's one of those situations where the linebackers came and filled.
All right, big plays here. 1 minute and 50 to go. Ball on the 28 of Hutchinson. 1st and 10, Buffaloes of Garden City. Coach Vernon was really talking to Chambers, pretty animated. I don't know if he went with the wrong call out there in the huddle or what he might have said. So anyway, that's water under the bridge. Acosta fumble. Ball loose, but picked up by Acosta back at the 32. So a 4-yard loss on the fumble, but recovered by Acosta. Clock moving along now with 1 minute and 38 to go.
Coach Vernon wanted Dallas Chambers to pull that handoff instead of giving it to the fullback.
Keep it himself?
When you have to gain 6 yards, that's asking the fullback to get a lot of yardage right in the middle.
Acosta out of the shotgun. As Dominguez behind him, he'll run it on the left side. He'll keep it himself. Back to the original line of scrimmage. Stood up right at the 20. 30, excuse me. And that's where they'll mark it, right at the 30.
I think that was Junior Jaime leading the charge. Salt Hawk defense is looking stout.
They really are. 3rd down and 11 now, facing Acosta and the Buffaloes. Acosta, the quarterback for the Buffaloes of Garden City, to turn. He wants to throw the football. Goes left side. Catch is made and knocked out of bounds. Right down to the 19. That might be right on the money of what they needed to get for the first down. It might be a little short, maybe by a yard. So maybe 4th and 1.
Acosta did a nice job of taking what the defense gave him. About 2 yards short.
Nice job over there on the catch. Got his feet in bounds, and they're going to say 4th and 1 on the board. Looks to be right at 4th and 2 by the chains. Back to pass Acosta. Ball knocked down, and Hutchinson will take over on downs with 46.5 seconds remaining to go in the quarter.
Joe, is that Junior Jaime that got his hands up there?
Yes, it was. Quick reaction to make a play on 4th down.
That's a big 4th down stop.
So Junior Jaime got a hand up and knocked it down with 46.5 seconds. Hutchinson will come out and have the football, see what they can do with it, or if they're just going to eat a little bit of it. And
so just a minute ago, Vernon was adamant with Dallas Chambers, but he just gave him a big smile before he sent him off onto the field for this next drive.
He believes in his quarterback, and Chambers done a good job this year. I've been pleased with what I've seen from the senior quarterback. Chambers under center, man in motion. He keeps it himself. On a run, they give it up. Chambers with some room to run. 40, he's at midfield. It's going to be a Salt Hawk touchdown. 30, 25, 10, 5. Now he drops it. He was caught from behind right at the 1-yard line, Dan, with 31.7. I don't know if he let up or not. I said Salt Hawk touchdown a little premature, but he had plenty of room to take it in. He just ran out of gas, maybe.
Ashton Huber for Garden City came a long ways to chase him down and tackle him right before he got it in the end zone. That was exactly what Coach Vernon wanted Dallas Chambers to do on the previous 4th down attempt.
All right, so it's 1st and goal from the 1 for the Salt Hawks. I was premature in calling the touchdown. I really thought he had it. To give to McEwen. He's in there and for the touchdown. So from 1 yard out, McEwen takes it in from 1 yard out. A great job of running the football by Chambers to get all the way down to the 1 before he was caught from behind. And with 22.3 seconds to go in the half, Hutchinson has taken a 12-6 lead.
It actually worked out better for Hutchinson because they could burn a little bit more time off the clock before they scored the touchdown, give Garden City that much less of a chance to do anything before halftime.
And that's huge because Hutch High will get the ball at the start of the second half.
Exactly right, because they decided to defer till halftime. And getting set for the kickoff or the extra point here. They're going to talk things over before the extra point. What a run by Dallas Chambers.
I think I had that at 80 yards. Is that about what
he was pretty close. They took over. They stood him up right at the ball was batted away, so it was right at the 20. So it took it all the way down, 79 yards, but he was caught from behind. I had him scoring a touchdown because I thought he was going to make it in at about the 10, but they came from behind to knock him down. Nevertheless, McCune is able to dot the I and take it right in.
Worked out just fine, didn't it? Worked out well.
Yes, a great touchdown run and a great run to get him down there in position.
Got to believe Hutchinson will go for 2 here, but they might go ahead and try to kick it again since Garden City
in the huddle right now.
Yeah, the offense is in the huddle. They might go for 2, trying to get those 2 back. Well, Joe Blake is on the sidelines.
I'm a little bit more aggressive and optimistic than most, but anytime we're going into the wind, I'd go for 2.
All right, Hutch breaks huddle. It looks like they are going to send the offense out there and go for 2. So it's 2 yards on the 2-point conversion.
Be talking to Brett Marshall about Under the Lights. Great book about 50 years of playoff history in high school football in Kansas. He'll be our guest at halftime.
Put a man in motion, flags fly, and I think it's going to be illegal procedure more than likely.
I'd still go for it, even though you're going to move it back 5 yards. What do you think, Joe?
No indication of any movement on the sideline, so I think we still are going for 2. But Vernon's got his hands on top of his head, wondering what he should do here.
Okay, he's trying to think it over a little bit and see what he's supposed to do.
And they're going to go for 2.
And Hutchinson will go for 2. Joe Blake Sidelines reports brought to you by the Shoe Fit Experience, Brown Shoe Fit at 410 East 30th, as well as Papa John's Pizza at 501 East 17th.
Hutchinson's trying to get the right personnel on the field. A lot of last-second churning on getting people into the game.
All right. Dallas Chambers under center. And the ball didn't even get out of his hands as everybody was moving, so another flag on the play.
It certainly appeared the Garden City came across the neutral zone.
Sure does.
But we'll wait and see what the officials think.
We'll see what they come up with.
If it's against Garden City, Hutchinson does not get the entire 5 yards back because it'll be half the distance to the goal.
All right. Encroachment on the defense, so we get the 5 back.
Well, I don't think they'll get the whole 5 back.
Okay, it's going to be half the distance then?
Well, maybe they did. I think it's going to be on the 4.
So they'll mark it on the 4-yard line. We'll take it from there.
That's right.
Yeah, he moved it back
about a half a yard, didn't he?
Yeah, we had it at the 3.5 and then moved it back to the 4 now.
Yep. So 22.3 seconds to go in the half. Hutchinson leads it 12-6, trying for the 2-point conversion here. It's been the longest 2-point conversion I've ever seen. Here's the turn, the pitch on the outside, trying to cut it inside is Rogers, trying to back his way into the end zone, doesn't get there, he's a yard short.
Good defense. Good defense
came up to stop him. So 22.3 seconds to go. Hutchinson leads it 12-6 in the second quarter play. We'll wait the Hutch kickoff when we return right after this timeout. We're out in Garden City. Salt Hawks lead at 12-6. You're on the Salt Hawk Radio Network.
Hutchinson Community College and Blue Dragon Athletics are proud to support Hutchinson Salt Hawk football. Whether you're working towards your degree or a busy working individual with limited time to attend class, Hutch CC has what you're looking for. And for those still in high school, Hutchinson Community College's Step Ahead program provides a head start on a quality education, and it may not cost the student anything. Visit hutchcc.edu or call 888-GO-HUTCH for more details. And good luck this season to the Salt Hawks.
The Medicine Shop, the Medicine Shop. When you
the Salt Hawks will kick it off from their own 40. Hutchinson touchdown set up with a 79-yard run by Dallas Chambers all the way down to the Buffalo 1. And then McEwen took it in from 1 yard out to go on top 12-6. Point after touchdown, 2-point conversion was not any good. Hutch fakes the kickoff again. And now getting set. All right, here we go. Here comes a kick from Villarreal. Kicks it away. It's going to go all the way to the 21, be returned right there. All on the outer perimeter. They got a wall set on that outside. They shove him out of bounds. Nice return by Lane Durst. Into right at the 50-yard line. They'll mark it officially on the Hutchinson side of the 50. Be 1st and 10 for Garden City from that spot. So with 15.9 seconds to go, Garden City with half the football ahead of them, they're going to try to set up maybe a field goal. Got enough time to do that. Let's see what they plan to do.
The range of the kicker in warm-ups was 50 yards. He made it off the crossbar and in, but that was also without shoulder pads and a defense.
So you're talking about having to get to the 40, maybe 35 to have that kind of range with that wind behind you. All right, Acosta still the quarterback, back to pass, wants to throw the football. Airs it out on the right side, incomplete. Stops the clock with 11.9 to go, brings up 2nd down. Right there, Joe, if he's able to pick that up, that would have been a good chunk of it. But it does stop the clock and keeps things alive with 11.9 to go.
Yeah, and keep in mind that Garden City doesn't have any timeouts, so if they're tackled before the first down, then there's virtually no chance that they get another playoff.
Yeah, good point. They look to the sidelines. They'll split wideouts on the right side. They'll send Lane Durst out on the far right side this time, and they'll also send out Ricardo Gomez out in the slot. They'll dot the I with a pro set I. Back to pass to Costa. Goes left side, incomplete pass. Durst just dropped it. Was a little bit behind him. Came off his hip, 8 seconds remaining. So now you're looking at 3rd down and 10 for the Buffaloes. Beautiful pink setting sky to our west. It is a beautiful night for football. Like I said, a little breezy. Kind of funny, Joe. We checked WeatherBug, and it says it's 5 miles per hour. Well, this might be 5 miles per hour by Garden City standards, but not by Central and Eastern Kansas standards.
Yeah, it is definitely more than 5 miles per hour down here.
When I see 5, the flag is barely rippling. You know what I'm talking about? Not the case here. It's standing straight out. All right. Wants to throw the football again is Acosta. Steps back, rolls to his right, going to go for the home run. Plenty of time. Now he finally lets it go, and it's out of bounds. It was caught, but too far out of bounds on the catch. The intended receiver was Ricardo Gomez, but it ends up that's going to be the final play of this second quarter of play. It's halftime, and Hutchinson with a 12-6 lead at the intermission. We'll take a 2-minute timeout. We'll come back and talk more football with you from Garden City at halftime. 2-minute timeout coming your way. Hutchinson leading at 12-6 on the Salt Hawk Radio Network.
The Medicine Shop. When you drop your prescriptions off, the personal care you'll find there will make you feel all better. The meds you need delivered with speed, the lowest prices guaranteed. Get your prescriptions with no hassle at 14th and Main at the Little White Castle. You'll feel all better at the Medicine Shop.
Are you ready for a new smartphone, but you need a plus one? It's buy one, get one free time at Nextech Wireless. Activate any device and receive an iPhone XR or Samsung Galaxy S10e for free. Swing by a Nextech Wireless store today. Make the switch, get a great phone, and get a second great phone free. Oh, don't forget you'll get high-speed unlimited data and the best coverage, too. Besides, what's better than a new smartphone? Well, that would be getting a second one for free. Certain restrictions apply. See store for details.
It's time to finish your taxes. Whether we filed your extension or not, bring your tax information to H&R Block and let our tax professionals ensure you get every deduction and credit you deserve. The tax filing deadline is October the 15th, and the office at 29 West 2nd, downtown Hutchinson, is open Monday through Friday from 10 till 5. Don't wait to file your tax return and risk penalties for missing the deadline. Walk in or call 662-5321 to schedule your appointment today.
Hutchinson High School Sports is on the air thanks to these outstanding Salt Hawk boosters. Portfolio Recovery Associates, The Shirt Shack, where the shirt hits the fans. Randy Smith of Appalachian Animal Hospital. Ryan and Robin Swanson of Phoenix Restoration. Kathy McCormick of Wynn Insurance Group. Reno Alcohol and Drug Counseling Services. The Hutchinson Clinic. Chick-fil-A. Salon B. I Need a Cleaners. And Jackson Meat. Hutchinson High School and Eagle Radio Sports say thank you for your support.
City High School, 12-6 at halftime. Salt Hawks on top. It is homecoming tonight, so it'll be a little bit longer. We've got a special interview coming up a little bit later with Brett Marshall, who wrote the book Under the Lights, 50 Years of Playoff Football in Kansas, and Dan Nacarado will be chatting with him. We also have the Culligan Water halftime report coming your way in just a little bit. Right now, it's time for the Medicine Shop in-game capsule, brought to you by the Little White Castle at 14th and Main in Hutchinson. The Medicine Shop. CBD oil, they've got it. Prescription-grade CBD oil makes a big difference when you're trying to take care of those aches and pains and maybe stuff, arthritis that you might have. Check it out. Talk to Rick Stone all about it. Don't forget pneumonia shots as well as the flu shot. Time to get that flu shot. That's at the 14th and Main location. Little White Castle at 14th and Main. They will take care of you. It's time for the Medicine Shop in-game capsule. Hutchinson rushing 18 times for 163 yards. Garden City 21 totes for 53 yards. Hutchinson with pass yards of 8 out of 1 for 1 attempt. 4 out of 8 for the Buffaloes for 28 yards total. Total offensive plays for Hutchinson 19, 171 yards. 29 for, again, Garden City. And 81 yards. Hutchinson with 6 first downs, and Garden City with 4. Rushing, Dallas Chambers with 106 yards on 5 totes. His longest was a 79-yard run that set up the touchdown. Alec McEwen with 7 carries for 36 yards and a touchdown. And also Cantu with 2 carries for 18 yards wraps up your rushers for Garden City. Josh Janis has made all the carries, 19 carries, 51 yards total, 1 TD, as long as the 15-yarder. Chambers, again, not 1 for 1 for 8 yards. Acosta's 4 out of 8 for 28 yards, as long as was a 12-yard throw. His favorite receiver, Lane Durst, who's had a couple go incomplete in and out of Durst's hands. Ricky Villarreal, 1 punt for only a net of 15 yards, and that was a tough one with the wind to his face. And again, a 53-yard punt by Garden City. That's the difference in the ball game. So far in the defensive category, Emilio Martinez with 3 unassisted tackles. Hunter Austin with 3. Terrell Elliott leads the cause for Garden City. That is your Medicine Shop in-game capsule, brought to you by the Medicine Shop, 14th and Main in Hutchinson. We'll take I'm going to keep it here, actually, and get set for the Culligan Water of Hutchinson, Lions, and Great Bend USD 308 activity report. Culligan Water, 669-9375. Give them a call. They're located at 101 West Avenue E in Hutchinson. So, again, call Culligan at 669-9375. Here's Hutchinson Jr. Sarah Peterson with your USD 308 activity report.
And on Saturday, there will be a cross-country varsity invitational meet at 8 o'clock, and that location starts at the North Gym. On Monday, there is a girl varsity golf tournament in Mays, and that starts at 1, as well as freshman and JV football at at Gowan Stadium versus Garden City. Tuesday will be we'll have boys soccer varsity game versus Mays at the USD 308 complex. And on Thursday, we will have a cross-country invitational again at McPherson, as well as a volleyball varsity triangular at Great Bend. And then on Friday, we'll wrap up with football at gallons.
All right. That's your USD 308 activity report brought to you by, again, Culligan Water of Hutchinson. Culligan Water located at 101 West Avenue E. Give them a call, 669-9375 for all your soft water needs. Culligan Water. Say, hey, Culligan man, and call them at 669-9375. We're going to take a quick 1-minute timeout and come back and get set for a halftime interview with your score on the field. Hutchinson leading at 12-6. We'll be back in 1 minute.
In need of a business loan? With the First, you are promised personal service and commercial lending. Whether your business is just getting started or you're ready to expand, the First has solutions to help make your business successful. We're first for you. Find out how our loan experts can help. Visit fnbhutch.bank to get started or stop into a location nearest you. First National Bank of Hutchinson, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
It's football season, when the weather is warm one day and cold the next. Stay ahead of cold and flu season by drinking plenty of liquids, getting enough rest, and keeping your hands sanitized. Come see the friendly folks at Ashcraft Pharmacy, your locally owned Health Mart pharmacy, for over-the-counter medications to help alleviate symptoms. And if you need a prescription, we offer free mail-out, free delivery, or call ahead for our handy curbside service. Go Salt Hogs from Ashcraft Pharmacy in the Hart Shopping Center, South Hutchinson, and Health Mart, caring for you and about you.
Garden City, Kansas, where the Hutchinson Salt Hawks lead the Buffaloes 12-6 at halftime. A little bit longer halftime tonight because it's homecoming at Garden City High School, which gives us a little bit of extra time to visit with Brett Marshall, outstanding sports journalist, sports editor at the Garden City Telegram for many years, and has written a book along with several other very good writers called Under the Lights. Brett, thank you for joining us.
Well, Dan, thanks for having me. Your radio station has a soft spot for me because of the 5 years I spent with the Hutchinson News from 1977 to 82, and that was my introduction to Rusty Hilst. And, lots of good memories on road trips with him and Jerry going to out-of-town games back then, and just a lot of good memories of Hutchinson and the people there.
Well, we're glad, and we hope that you'll always feel welcome in the center of the garden spot of the universe, also known as Hutchinson, Kansas, USA Earth Milky Way.
There's still a lot of it that feels like it's home. I enjoy going back to Prairie Dunes and seeing all the people there. Of course, playing one of the great courses in the United States on occasion, too. So it's just a neat community and very active with all the activities and athletics, both at the college and at the high school.
Well, and our friend Rusty Hill spends quite a bit of time out there at Prairie Dunes. He's a pretty salty golfer still, has been for many years, obviously. Rusty did the broadcast for Salt Hawk football and basketball for 50 years. We think of him every day.
Pretty amazing career, and I think he was the first person that was faster than a calculator in coming up with statistics, during games. So I just always trusted him that he had the right answer on stats.
He did a great job with so many aspects. He's certainly a good friend and will continue to be for many, many years. Brett, I got your book the first day that high school football practice got underway this 2019 season. It arrived in the mail, and I tell you what, people will tell you Coach Knack was one happy guy to be able to thumb through Under the Lights. Talk to us about that.
Well, the book turned out really well. It actually ended up being bigger than we originally had planned, and thankfully we were able to do that because we have a huge records section there's nothing like it that I'm aware of around the state of Kansas, with that many different lists and records of championship games and lists of coaches and players and programs and wins and losses during the playoff system for 50 years, and then the 19 chapters that we had. I'm grateful to the 11 other writers who contributed. Brad Hallier, Harold Bouchard worked in Hutchinson and Salina, just all of them. It's my Hall of Fame group, I call them.
That's a good way to describe it.
And they are. I mean, the 12 of us, I think collectively, I figured out we had 347 years of writing experience. And the neat thing about the book, Dan, those 19 chapters, every person that wrote about what they did in the book, they actually saw and covered. So it's a first-person account of everything that's in those 19 chapters. It was a wonderful experience for me to learn a lot about different teams and schools and players and coaches around the state, some of which I, was aware of during the years that I was writing, and others that I wasn't, and it was just kind of fascinating to see different things materialize as the book kind of evolved, over the course of 8 months. And, we fast-tracked the book so it would be out, for this fall, and that was the plan all along, and we hit every single deadline that we wanted. And, like you getting the book on the, first day of practice, that was kind of our goal, and so we managed to hit the deadline, and I'm really happy how it turned out.
Well, so were the readers, because I've talked to so many different people that picked up a copy of it and have enjoyed. It's one of those that I thought was going to be more of a reference book, but next thing you know, I'm turning it one page at a time, starting at the beginning and going all the way to the end.
Well, that's one thing that I think I was able to bring to the project, because, I spent 6 or 7 years in Michigan working in the book industry and sports book publications specifically. And so I kind of knew how to get a book, done. And the Activities Association had never done a book. They'd done the records books, for track and field and basketball and cross country about a decade ago. And I was able to show them some samples, late last year when we talked about the end of the 50th year in 2018. And then, for me, the 50 years is kind of, taking me back to my youth, because 1969, when the fall was the beginning of my senior year in high school in Syracuse.
And you had a pretty good high school football team.
Well, we went 8-0, but we didn't make the playoffs that year because the system was it was in its infancy, is the way I would describe it. And they had to start somewhere, and I think they started with few teams making it to see how it would work, and they saw the things that needed to be fixed. And, my takeaway is that over 50 years they've tweaked the system a lot, and they've got it to where it's pretty darn good now, because every team now, regardless of whether it's 8-man Division II or 6A, every team has a chance to win on the field and advance and get to the championship game, and that's really all you can ask at the end of the day. And I figured out, too, by looking back at the point system those first 2 years, why we lost out, in the playoffs by 63/100ths of a point. So, it doesn't make it any easier, but I understand it a lot better now, and so that was a little bit of a cathartic experience for me.
Well, there are certainly no more mythical state champions in in Kansas high school football. That it's all proven on the field.
Well, it is, and of course, you and the people in Hutchinson have a special place, because you won 6 in a row during the 2000s. That hasn't been beaten yet. Bishop Miege will be looking for their 6th in a row this year. And I look at those a little differently, because 4 of those years for Bishop Miege there was 2 divisions of 4A. And not that the smaller division teams could have beaten them, but I look at Hutch winning in 5A and 6A, and boy, they beat some awfully good teams, when they were winning their state championships. So I think that's a pretty special, accomplishment. Lawrence winning 10 out of 12 years, in the 80s and 90s, at the expense of Garden City a couple of times in the early 90s. And so, there's just a lot of neat stories. And at the end of the day, we hope that this generates other stories that people will share, themselves, that we didn't have room for in the book.
I'm Coach Knack. This is Brett Marshall, author of Under the Lights. We're going to take a 1-minute break and come back, and we want to hear you tell us about how the playoff system had a nationwide impact that was started right here in Kansas. We'll be back in 1 minute.
Forward. Always moving. Never stagnant. Together. Nothing great is ever accomplished without it. At Fee Insurance Group, we've been working side by side with our clients for more than a century. Together with individuals, organizations, and communities, we look ahead to protect the people, places, and things they love. We're Fee Insurance Group. Forward. Together.
Hi, Kansas. This is Jess at Pools Plus. Another great year at the Kansas State Fair has come and gone, and here at Pools Plus, we have decided to extend the fair sale on all of our in-stock spas and outdoor furniture through the end of September. We appreciate all of our loyal customers, and we strive on continuing to be the first choice in all of your pool, spa, and outdoor furniture needs. Come in and take advantage of the after-fair specials going on through September at Pools Plus, 21 East 1st in downtown Hutchinson.
overtime here at Garden City High School, where the Hutchinson Salthawks lead the Garden City Buffaloes 12-6. I'm Coach Knack, and happy to be joined by outstanding writer and sports journalist Brett Marshall. Brett, we have about 4 more minutes. I wish we had more time than that. But Kansas high school football set a pretty good example for how to handle end-of-game situations.
Well, they did. The first 2 years, 1969 and 70, a tiebreaker in the playoffs was the team who had the most offensive penetrations inside the opponent's 5-yard line. And if it was still tied, they went to the 10, and if it was still tied, they went to the 20, and then if it was still tied, the fourth tiebreaker was putting the ball on the 10-yard line and letting both teams have a chance to score, which is the overtime rule we now have. It took 2 years to get rid of the penetration rule because the administrators for Acacia didn't like the way it was turning out. There was 3 of those in the first year.
What was the score of that first game that they used the penetration rule?
Well, the 5A, what turned out to be a semifinal game between Shawnee Mission North and Shawnee Mission South, was the championship game of the Sunflower League, and that was going to determine the team to play Wichita North in the state championship game in 5A. And it was 0-0 at the end of the game, and Shawnee Mission North had a 54-yard run by Dave Specht inside to the 3-yard line in the second quarter. They couldn't score, but it was the only penetration inside the 5, and the team that had the most penetrations got 1 point, so the final score was 1-0.
Now, that's a rare score.
Well, it's the only score that we found in the whole United States in high school football that ended in a 1-0, score, official score.
Amazing.
And so 2 years later, they did away with the penetration rule, and we now have the 10-yard, rule for Kansas and 35 other states.
Well, you get the ball on the 10-yard line.
Both teams get the ball on the 10, and the college NCAA came around a few years ago, and they adapted it, modified it to the 25-yard line. My hope is that the NFL will modify it and adapt it, and maybe start at the 40-yard line or 50, but give both teams an opportunity to score in overtime, because that's really the fairest way to decide, an outcome. You want to give both teams an equal chance, and if after several overtimes, if you need to go for 2 to force a team to win, then you've got an outcome to do that too.
Well, and now we have many years of experience with this overtime system that we started in Kansas, and it's really pretty exciting, and I think most people like it.
It is, and I think what I've noticed is that there's not been very many playoff games, and certainly not very many championship games that have gone past 1 or 2 overtimes. I think I saw somebody was at 8 overtimes but that was in a regular season game, and you don't see that too often in the playoffs. And the championship games around the state and the different classifications have their own story, and there's just a lot of interesting things. And one of the fun ones was Bishop Gage beat Liberal 2-0 in 1972 in the 4A state championship game on a block punt out of the end zone in the first quarter.
Oh my goodness! So that was the only scoring in the whole game, as it turned out.
Bishop Gage holds the record for most points in a championship game in 4A, and they hold the record for the fewest points by a winning team.
Just 2. 2 points won the game for them.
They did.
That is absolutely incredible. Now, I think that I saw some people lining up to buy books from you here at Garden City High School tonight. Are you doing a little bit of a book signing tonight?
Well, I did some a little bit before the game. I've come to the conclusion that people come to a football game to come to the game rather than coming to buy a book. But I've been able to sell some to a bunch of friends. I did a book signing at at our Finney County Museum a couple of weeks ago, and just here and there selling 30 or 40 for the Activities Association. And I think talked with Jeremy Holliday the other day at the Topeka office, and we've gone over 1,000 books sold already.
That's outstanding. I'll tell you, we love high school football in the state of Kansas, so this is very important. Everybody tune in carefully. How can people get a hold of a copy of Under the Lights?
Well, the easiest way is go to the Activities Association website, which is kshsaa.org. They still have it on their homepage. There's a place with the book cover on it. They can click on the link. They can order it, and it'll be shipped to them from Topeka.
And what is the price?
$20 from Acacia, plus shipping and handling, and I think tax for Uncle Sam. Sam. And people around here who've been buying it from me, they get a signed book for $25, and there's no additional tax. So.
Well, and I've been carrying my copy around with me in my briefcase to every game because you never know when I might want to thumb through it when something comes up that I want to refer back to.
Well, and you got it signed, too.
I have it signed by Brett Marshall right now. I'll have to get Brad Hallier and some of those other guys to sign their pieces of it.
Well, they all played a big role in it, I'll tell you. The book wouldn't have happened without the other sports writers, I can tell you that.
Brett Marshall, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for everything you've done with sports journalism for a long time.
Well, thanks, Dan. You guys do a great job with the radio stuff, too, and I think the people in Hutchinson are very fortunate.
It's our pleasure. We're going to take a 1-minute break, and we'll be back with Glenn Grunwald.
Hutchinson High School Sports is on the air thanks to these outstanding Salt Hawk boosters. Portfolio Recovery Associates, The Shirt Shack, where the shirt hits the fans. Randy Smith of Appalachian Animal Hospital. Ryan and Robin Swanson of Phoenix Restoration. Kathy McCormick of Wynn Insurance Group. Reno Alcohol and Drug Counseling Services. The Hutchinson Clinic. Chick-fil-A. Salon B. I Need a Cleaners. And Jackson Meat. Hutchinson High School and Eagle Radio Sports say thank you for your support.
Hutchinson Community College and Blue Dragon Athletics are proud to support Hutchinson Salt Hawk football. Whether you're working towards your degree or a busy working individual with limited time to attend class, Hutch CC has what you're looking for. And for those still in high school, Hutchinson Community College's Step Ahead program provides a head start on a quality education, and it may not cost the student anything. Visit hutchcc.edu or call 888-GO-HUTCH for more details. And good luck this season to the Salt Hawks.
All right, and welcome back. We're at halftime, just a little bit remaining in halftime. At halftime, at least, they'll get going here. Salt Hawks in the Buffaloes. Good first half of play, Dan Nacarata. As you looked at the scoring that took place, it was just a really good job of play by Hutchinson, as Hutchinson was able to take it in to get the first score, and then with Dallas Chambers scoring, and then came back and got a 79-yard run by Chambers to take it down to the one. He simply ran out of gas. I had him in the house already with the door shut, but Garden City came from behind and grabbed him, and then you had the quick touchdown on the next play right in, and Hutchinson was unable to convert the two-point conversion, however, and you're looking at 12-6 right now.
Hutchinson, really an outstanding half of football here at Garden City. 163 yards of total offense on 18 snaps, and the Hutchinson defense only allowed 53 yards of Garden City offense on 21 snaps. Garden City actually a few more opportunities than Hutchinson in that first half, but that Hutchinson defense came up big. And maybe the most important statistic from Hutchinson's point of view, no turnovers.
No turnovers. Now, just when you're talking to Brett, by the way, nice interview with Brett Marshall. Hope you folks are interested in that book, because it is a very nice book for $20. It's nice to have just for the Hutchinson chapter, but if you're a football fan in Kansas, it's kind of a must-have type of thing. Talks about all the different great games that were played. But you look at I talked to the coaches next door, and they said what a difference it is not to be down by 3 touchdowns. We didn't turn the ball over. That's a big plus right there. The ball has been on the ground, but a little bit more by way of Garden City turning the ball over.
Two fumbles, but they were able to collect both of those fumbles themselves. So neither team turned the ball over. Garden City did get a short field a couple of times after Hutchinson was pinned deep in their own territory and had to punt. Garden City got the ball on the Hutchinson 23-yard line, but they didn't get an easy touchdown out of that particular drive. The Hutchinson defense was very tough. Ultimately, Garden City was able to punch it in, but they had to earn every yard they got on that drive, and Hutchinson leads it 12-6.
So we're waiting for the opening warm-ups complete. We're going to get one more 1-minute timeout in, and then we'll get set for second half of football. It is Hutchinson and Garden City locking it up. Hutchinson leading 12-6 at halftime. We'll be back right after this.
Welcome to the Hutchinson Medicine Shop. With the emergence of big business, not only in pharmacy, but all industries, the Medicine Shop is proud to be a thriving local business in Hutchinson. We're so thankful to our customers in Hutchinson, Reno County, and Central Kansas for your support. In turn, we're proud to be a major sponsor of the Hutch High Salt Hawks, as well as other area high schools, the Blue Dragons, Chiefs, Royals, Jayhawks, and Wildcats. You support us, and the Hutchinson Medicine Shop supports local sports.
Are you ready for a new smartphone, but you need a plus one? It's buy one, get one free time at Nextech Wireless. Activate any device and receive an iPhone XR or Samsung Galaxy S10e for free. Swing by a Nextech Wireless store today. Make the switch, get a great phone, and get a second great phone free. Oh, don't forget you'll get high-speed unlimited data and the best coverage, too. Besides, what's better than a new smartphone? Well, that would be getting a second one for free. Certain restrictions apply. See store for details.
Now we're about set for the start of the second half, and if it's as good as the first half, Denny, we're in for a heck of a football game. Glenn Grunwald, Danny Nacarado.
We were just reading a text from Denny Stackline from Hutchinson Community College.
Garden City's going to kick it off, by the way.
But, many times people confuse Denny Stackline with me, and that's always a compliment to me.
Isn't that a compliment to you? Yeah, I bet
definitely a compliment
Joe Blake on the sideline, and Joe fired up bunch of Salt Hawks right now.
Yes, it is. Same energy that they had at the beginning of the game.
Yes, exactly. So here comes the opening kickoff of the second half, and Hutchinson is going to field it. McEwen takes it at the 4-yard line, heads straight up the center of the field, glances to the left side, breaks the tackle to 25 to 30, all the way to the 35, and at the 36-yard line. He was maybe one step away from breaking that one, Dan Nacarado, as he took it all the way out with 11:50 to go in his third period of play now as we start the third period, all the way out to the 36-yard line. Nice return, took it at his own 4.
That is an outstanding kick return by Alec McEwen. Alec McEwen is a strong young man at 185 pounds. He gets up ahead of steam, and he's a tough guy to tackle.
Yeah, he sure is. Turned the corner nicely at about the 20. Got picked up a block and was off to the races. Cornered over there, ran out of bounds at the 36. So first and 10 Salt Hawks at their own 36-yard line. Hutchinson came out and just marched right down the field, 80 yards. They had 79 yards on their first possession. Chambers gives first man through. This time it carries all the way down to pick up a 9 on the carry. Anytime you get 9, and that's Cantu on the carry, anytime you can get 9 out of that fullback spot, you're doing a good job.
Yeah, that was 2 tight ends in the game. Hutchinson calls that formation Army. When Hutchinson goes in that formation, it's almost always a run play. Of course, it's almost always a run play for the Salt Hawks.
I'm going to stretch it out a little bit. 2nd down and 2, so give him about a 8-yard pickup on that first down play.
Look for Hutchinson to probably go left this time because 300-pound right tackle Jonathan Fan had to come out of the game for one play. His helmet came off.
All right, Chambers under center. Gets the snap, the turn, and do go left, but straight up the middle. There's a breaker by Rogers across to midfield at the 50. Move the chains. First down to Hutchinson. So Hutchinson, 11:01 to go. Third quarter play. Driving down on the opening kickoff of the second half. Right now, ball is right smack dab in the middle at the 50-yard line.
Part of the reason I've always been a big believer in controlling the ground game in Kansas high school football is you have nights like this where the wind is blowing pretty hard. That's like an extra defender against the pass.
I love it, with the exception of if you fall behind by several touchdowns, it takes a lot of time to catch caught up. Get the Cantu, quick open on the right side this time. He rolls himself down to about the 33-yard line. They'll mark it actually at the 44, so pick up 6.
Hutchinson has a very good rotation in the backfield going tonight.
Yeah, Cantu coming out now.
Very good rotation between Dallas Chambers, McEwen, Cantu,
and Barlow. Yeah,
Barlow, Rogers. They've got a lot of different guys getting involved in moving that football.
Barlow's back in there now, and they're looking to the sideline and getting their signal. Now they'll break huddle. Ball's on the right hash mark. Chambers down under center. McEwen right behind him. Barlow in the left slot. McEwen in the Rogers over in the right slot. A timeout's going to be taken. A little miscommunication. So we'll see what's going to take place here. Is 12-6. Hutchinson on top. Third quarter play. 9:52 to go in the third quarter. We'll be back with more on the Salt Hawk Radio Network.
Getting the most back from your tax return starts with getting the most expertise. H&R Block has more enrolled agents than any other tax preparation company, and we guarantee the accuracy of every return prepared by our tax professionals. We find every credit and deduction to lower your tax bill. Put our expertise to work on your return, and don't just get your taxes done, get your taxes won. In Hutchinson, Lyons, and Ellsworth.
Mark Atkins on the board back at BW Studios, doing a great job as always as chief engineer. 9:52 to go in the third period of play. We're just underway in the third period. Salthawks on the drive. They had the ball at the Garden City 44-yard line. Give him the outside. McEwen finds some room, angles back inside. He made his way all the way to the 35. They'll say 36 before his forward progress is stopped. So another Salthawk first down, and that'll move the chains.
Power football, that was not an option. That was just a designed power run play all the way to the fullback, Alec McEwen.
Salthawks had 12 first downs in the first, 6 first downs in the first half of play. They really dominated.
Hutchinson did have, you're right.
Six first downs to 4, I think. That's what the call was.
Right.
But it seemed like Hutchinson had the ball a lot more time. Chambers now down under center. Rogers slot back left. McEwen in motion. Rocket toss on the left side. McEwen with room. Down to the 30. Has a blocker out there to the 20. Cuts inside. Back down to the 5. And out of bounds at the 3-yard line. Then throw down. Let's see if there's a flag. Nope, they say not. But he took it all the way down to the 3. Really did a nice job picking up the block on the outside.
That was Braden Rogers blocking 10, 15, 20 yards downfield and staying with his block.
Did a nice job of staying with his blocker, like you just indicated. And it's going to be first and goal from the 4 for the Salthawks, trying to go up 2 touchdowns.
This has been an outstanding opening drive for the Salthawks here in the third quarter.
Chambers under center. Has McEwen in the tailback or the fullback spot. Rogers on the right slot, Barlow on the left slot. Takes the snap to give to McEwen. He's met right at the line of scrimmage. Lost maybe on the play. See where they mark his forward progress. So Yenis on the stop out there. Clock is moving with 9:03. Hutchinson will send a play in from the side.
Pretty full bleachers across the way on the big grandstand. Both the grandstands are large here at Garden City.
Nice Hutchinson delegation here as well. All right, Caden Pennington is center for Hutchinson. Leads him up to the line of scrimmage.
A little confusing about who's supposed to line up where.
McEwen slid up on that left slot. Man in motion. The pitch around on the outside. Rogers, touchdown, Salthawks. Took it in from 4 yards out with 8:28 to go in this third quarter of play. Boy, he wasn't to be denied out there. They just need one block to seal on the outside, and they got it.
That was a reward for the outstanding downfield blocking that Rogers did on the previous play. When you have a player blocking downfield the way Braden Rogers did it, you want to give him a chance to score when you can.
All right.
That's exactly what happened.
18-6, Hutch on top. We'll check the point after here. The kick is up and on its way. It is up, and it is good. And with 8:28 to go in the third period of play, Hutchinson has taken a lead of 19-6 over the Buffaloes of Garden City. We'll wait the Salthawk kickoff when we return with more from Garden City. Hutchinson leads at 19-6. This is Salthawk Radio Network.
In need of a business loan? With the First, you are promised personal service and commercial lending. Whether your business is just getting started or you're ready to expand, the First has solutions to help make your business successful. We're first for you. Find out how our loan experts can help. Visit fnbhutch.bank to get started or stop into a location nearest you. First National Bank of Hutchinson, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Welcome back to Garden City. 8:28 to go in the third period of play. What a drive by the Salthawks to open up this third quarter. Just took it right down the field and took care of business. Nice run.
64-yard drive.
Yeah, and a nice job by McEwen to rope that sideline a little while and take it all the way down to the 4. And then Rogers took it in from 4 yards out. Villarreal will kick off. Let's see if they do stampede again. Garden City thinks they will. Here he gets set. Here comes the kickoff. They'll rattle back, and now Villarreal will probably kick it away more than likely unless he goes with the pooch. Let's check it.
I think it'll either be onside or a pooch, one of the two.
All right, he looks at both sides, and here we go. Here's the kickoff. He'll Kick it to a little pooch to the left side, and it's taken by the Salt Hawks. They're going to stay out of bounds, though. Which way are they going to point?
Salt Hawks covered it, but I think it might have been out of bounds.
Might have been out of bounds. They're coming over to talk about it. They'll mark the football to 32. Joe?
We lost control of the ball on the way down to the ground, so
more
probably
likely
will not be our ball, but they are talking it over.
They are chatting about it, so we will see what the call is going to be. Cook, a crazy bounce came off a Garden City player, actually, or maybe they let it go, and they're going to say 1st and 10 Garden City, I'm almost sure. Okay, they get the penalty for kicking out of bounds, is what the call is, Joe. So it was not touched.
They've decided it's not a penalty for the kick going out of bounds because the Hutchinson player touched it before it went out of bounds.
Okay, that's the down, so...
He just didn't control it, therefore Garden City football on
it
their
will
own
be
32.
Garden City on their own 32-yard line. So the Broncbusters will set up. Acosta will be out there in his offensive set. He'll split wideouts left and right this time.
He's going to the air.
Ryan Hill deciding maybe that's the way they need to catch up. He'll roll to the left side. They have fumbled. Jonas couldn't get to it. There's a Salt Hawk out there, and I think the Salt Hawks that came up with it. Fumble on the play, and Hutchinson comes away with it. And Hutchinson comes up with a big-time play. Hutchinson will have it on Buffalo 25-yard line. Joe, did you see who came up with it? I did not.
Yeah, that was Junior Jaime out there.
Jaime came up with this. Thank you, Joe Blake.
He's a little shaken up on the play here.
All right. Joe Blake's sideline reports brought to you by Brown Shoe Fit at 410 East 30th. Shoe Fit experience at Brown Shoe Fit at Papa John's Pizza at 501 East 17, 665-7272. Get you a Papa John's Pizza and settle in and listen to the Salt Hawks. They now lead at 19-6 and have the football. Jaime's okay. He checks out. Nice job of coming up with the football over there on the fumble. As Janice never did have the control of the football.
No, they were in a pass formation, but they ran speed option out of it. And when Acosta pitched the ball to Janice, the pitch was just never controlled and ended up on the turf. Junior Jaime was able to go recover that fumble.
I've seen Mondesi come out of the ball game. He was late coming out. I think he was checking to him. It might be a knee or looks like it might be a cramp the way they're working on Jaime.
It was a hot day here when the players came out to warm up. It was still about 85 degrees.
Well, my ear cushions would tell you it was a hot day over here because I didn't know I could sweat this much in my ear cushions. But
it got a little hot in our broadcast position with the sun.
Yes, it did. Sun bearing down on us. We had the door open for a while. We had gale force winds coming out of the south. They're still attending to Jaime. He's still cramping up a little bit, and they're trying to bend that toe back and really trying to get that out. I'll tell you what, while they do that, we're going to take a pretty quick timeout. Come back and talk about things. Hutchinson on top, 19-6. Hutchinson will have the football at the 25-yard line of Garden City when we return on the Salt Hawk Football Network.
Hutchinson High School Sports is on the air thanks to these outstanding Salt Hawk boosters. Portfolio Recovery Associates, The Shirt Shack, where the shirt hits the fans. Randy Smith of Appalachian Animal Hospital. Ryan and Robin Swanson of Phoenix Restoration. Kathy McCormick of Wynn Insurance Group. Reno Alcohol and Drug Counseling Services. The Hutchinson Clinic. Chick-fil-A. Salon B. I Need a Cleaners. And Jackson Me. Hutchinson High School and Eagle Radio Sports say thank you for your support.
Trying to get up, Dan, and Jaime's back down on the turf, still attended to him.
But the good news is it does appear that it's cramps, and I know that doesn't sound like very good news, but
it hurts. Those hurt.
It's a lot better to have that situation than have a lot of other type injuries that you could sustain. He'll bounce back from this as soon as he can get rehydrated and stretched out, but if any of you have ever woken up in the middle of the night with a cramp in your leg, and it's painful. And sometimes you think it's going away, and you move, and it comes right back again, and that's what's happening to Junior Jaime.
He will get up on his feet and be attended to the sidelines.
It's usually you see that happen when it's a hot day in September, and you've been playing hard, and the wind also dries you out.
So he will be carried off the field. We'll keep an eye on him and see how he is.
Hope they can get those muscles loosened up, and hope he's feeling good by the time the team heads home tonight.
At the end of 3, Derby 63, Newton nothing. And by the way, Newton 2 weeks from now will be Hutchinson host at home. Hutchinson takes on Salina Central next week.
I'm guessing that Selden Jones will probably have to play defense the next series, and he'll move over to that outside linebacker position.
All right, now we get set, and Hutchinson will have the football with 8:22 to go in the third quarter of play. McEwen at the slot left, Rogers at the slot right, Cantu at that fullback spot. Ball on the Garden City 25-yard line. And stoppage of play and a flag on the field. And was it too much time, or what was the call? False start on the offense. I didn't see it, but that means absolutely nothing. Mays on top of campus, 35-6, third quarter play. Wichita Northwest on top of Great Bend, 24-0. That's a surprise.
Great Bend has a pretty good football team.
They had a miracle on Morton Street last week.
That's right. Wichita Northwest also a very good football team.
And close to home, Little River 51, Bennington 6. That's a final.
That was the third false start penalty against the Salthawks this game.
Here, Hawks go with a quick opener to Cantu up the middle, carries forward to about the 20-yard line. Pick up of close to 9 or 10.
Offensively, Hutchinson is certainly firing on all cylinders right now, and it all starts up front with that O-line. Levi Allen, Chase Kepler, Caden Pennington, Tyler Robinson, Jonathan Fan, and when they go with a tight end, it's usually Kyler Burnett.
Now, Caden Pennington, I have all kinds of respect for a center in any level of football. It all starts with the center, doesn't it, Dan?
You can't have a play without somebody snapping the ball.
All right, Chambers down under Pennington. Sends a man in motion. The turn, the rocket toss on the outside. McEwen trying to turn the corner, and stumbles a little bit, gets away from 1 all the way down to 10, back pedals down to the 5.
Oh my gosh, he was turning and twisting, and he could have been a ballet dancer there. It was so graceful.
Backpedaling all the way down and knocked out of bounds at about the 7 is what they're officially going to say. They'll mark it at the 7, first and goal.
A ballet dancer in football pads who's got some muscle.
I'm going to leave that one on its own right there. Great job.
Let me put it another way. He showed good balance.
That's what he did. All right. Hutchinson knocking on the door again. 1st and 7 from the 7. Salthawks are moving the football tonight. Garden City defensively gets set. McEwen fakes it to give it a straight away. Right up the middle. And Chambers kept it, though. Comes up limping a little bit.
He got kicked a little bit, or a little bit stepped on his lower leg.
I thought he gave it to Cantu, and all of a sudden Chambers down on the ground with it. 2nd and goal from still at the 7.
Chambers kept it, and as he tried to turn upfield, one of the Garden City Buffaloes linemen stepped on either his foot or his ankle, and that tripped him up.
They'll break center. Barlow at the fullback spot.
2 tight ends.
McEwen and Rogers the slot, and give it away to Barlow. He turns his way across the 5 all the way to the 4.
Now, even though that wasn't one of the big 80-yard exciting plays, that is a highlight reel play for the offensive line, the way they moved those Garden City Buffaloes back towards their own end zone.
Blew off the line pretty good. 3rd down and goal from the 4. For Hutch. Hutch high, breaks huddle. Glenn Grunwald, Dan Nacarado, along with Joe Blake on the sidelines. Sarah Peterson on the Salthawk Sports on YouTube video camera.
Salthawks are taking up some of the play clock now, so Garden City doesn't get the ball back with the wind at their back.
Chambers gives to McEwen, trying to fight out a block. Rolled over at the 5. Little or no gain. Might have even lost a yard.
Hutchinson Salthawks now letting that play clock get down within 10 seconds before they're snapping the ball as they're going into the wind. It's a 40-second play clock in high school football this year. This is a rule change that went into effect in 2019. It's the same play clock rules as colleges use this year.
And that play clock is at 17 right now. Game clock at 5:41.
Yeah, that would have been an illegal substitution.
Yeah, it sure is. They called a quick timeout. As we had substitution from the sidelines. We'll get a break, though, as we'll come back with more. 19-6, Hutch on top, 5:34 to go in the third period of play. 4th and goal from the 4. We'll be back with more on the Salt Hawk Radio Network.
It's football season, when the weather is warm one day and cold the next. Stay ahead of cold and flu season by drinking plenty of liquids, getting enough rest, and keeping your hands sanitized. Come see the friendly folks at Ashcraft Pharmacy, your locally owned Health Mart pharmacy, for over-the-counter medications to help alleviate symptoms. And if you need a prescription, we offer free mail-out, free delivery, or call ahead for our handy curbside service. Go Salt Hawks! From Ashcraft Pharmacy in the Hart Shopping Center, South Hutchinson, and Health Mart, caring for you and about you.
Salt Hawks talking things over with 5:34 to go in this third period of play. 4th and 4 is the call on the 4. 4th and goal from the 4. Hutchinson leads 19-6. Be nice to tack on 6 to 7 more here.
This is the type play that if you're successful, you can pretty much...
Yeah, you can start to loosen some things up defensively. Take some chances on some blitzes.
Can take the spirit away from your opponent if you score here.
Exactly. Chambers, wide out split, left side Twins. The pitch on the outside. Trying to turn the corner. Left side just short of the goal line was McEwen.
It was really well blocked.
Yep.
And McEwen ran it well. It was just a good recovery by the Garden City Buffalo defense.
Stopped short right at the 1. So Garden City will take over on downs at that position.
We've got a flag on the play, and I think it's going to be holding against us.
I did not see that, so it's going to be against the Salt Hawks. So let's see.
You'd think that Garden City would maybe decline that and take the football, but on the other hand, they might decide to back them up.
And they're going to mark it off.
Coach Hill's thinking it over.
Coach Brian Hill, I've known Brian for a long time. When I came to the help out with broadcast, he was a offensive coordinator. He was a assistant coach at that time with Hutchinson. Great young man.
He's a good coach. You're right.
He's a quality individual.
Quality. That's the best way to say it.
Holding offense, it'll be a 10-yard penalty. So that'll mark it at the 14.
You're playing with fire here,
yes,
though.
You are.
When you stopped your opponent from getting into the end zone and
they're looking
taking over.
Villarreal, are they going to kick it?
That would be a 37-yard field goal attempt into the wind. You're right, though, Glenn. Earlier, I think you mentioned the wind does appear to be dying down.
It's dying down a little bit with the old sunsets out here. I've been out here in Garden City a lot of times in my selling career. It'll die down, and it'll end up being a pretty morning.
Joe, you probably have a better feel for what the wind is doing than we do.
Yeah, it's died down a little bit, but it's still very much
pretty brisk.
Yes.
Blowing straight out of the south or southeast.
That play clock is winding down. Hutchinson's taking some time to figure out what they want to do. They are going to send the offense out.
Yep. Newquist will split wide on the right side. Back to pass is Chambers. Across the middle. Oh, he is out of the hands of a Salt Hawk receiver.
Isaiah Duvall.
Duvall was right in and out of his hands. He was coming across from the flat on the left side. And I think he would add 6 if he could have caught that football.
It was a very well-designed play, and it was well executed except for completing the pass.
So the Buffaloes will take over on downs with 5:27 to go. They have the wind at their back in this quarter. And they trail it 19-6.
Turned out to be a good decision by Coach Hill to accept that penalty.
Left side, Jonas on the carry, has some room. He's across the 30 to the 35, all the way out to the 40-yard line before being corralled out of bounds at about the 43. Nice run, a 25-yard pickup by Jonas.
So instead of Garden City taking over on downs at their own 1-yard line, they got to take over on downs at the 20-yard line, and that opened up the playbook a little bit.
It totally changes the complexity of the game as well. So 1st and 10 on the Buffalo 43-yard line. And moving left to right as you watch and listen. Don't forget, later on tonight, video will be uploaded on the NFHS network. Back to pass. Acosta, incomplete. Stops the clock with 5:06 to go in this third period of play. Brings up 2nd down and 10 from the 43-yard line, Garden City's own 43.
Pretty good pressure that time on Acosta came from Dylan Peterson. He blitzed from his outside linebacker position and hurried that pass. See Junior Jaime is on the sideline.
Yep.
He's at the water cooler drinking water, and he's continuing to stretch out those legs.
Yep, probably has to get some water in him here. Faking it as Acosta. He's going to keep it around the right side on the edge. Nice tackle on the outer perimeter by
Peterson.
The Salt Hawks, and Peterson comes up and makes the stop.
Right at the line of scrimmage. He diagnosed the play, and then he came hard, went low, he's corralled him by the ankles.
As Joe said on our way up here, he's that offensive linebacker coming up to make the stop. Right?
That was not me, by the way. That was Sarah. I do not put that on my name.
The abbreviation was OLB on the roster.
Giving you a hard time.
Outside linebacker.
That was a nice stop by Peterson out of that outside linebacker spot to come up and make the stop. All right, Garden City. 3rd down and 10 facing him. Acosta, the quarterback, back to pass. Looks to the left side. Throws it over the outstretched hands of his intended receiver on that far side. Just a little too high and not able to make the play. Over on that far side was Lane Durst.
And that was Maddox Hinahaw with excellent coverage. And we learned that Maddox doesn't go by Maddox around the halls.
Well, Mad Dog.
He's Mad Dog at Hutchinson High School. We learned that from Joe Blake today.
Mm-hmm. Said that even his dad calls him Mad Dog. All right, they're back to punt. 4th down and 10.
He got off a booming punt.
Sure did. Salt Hawks have a man back all the way at the 10.
That's a good one.
McEwen comes up. Now sailed. Actually, that's Newquist. Trying to get to the end zone. It will not. It'll die right at the 5. So first and 10 for the Salt Hawks at the 5-yard line. Hutch will take over.
That's a net of about 51 yards on that punt. It was a beautiful punt. Majestic punt.
Just a punt. 4:20 to go. And Hutch will take it over. Hutch has moved the ball very effectively today. Now, you do have to be a little careful down here, Dan. Don't want to turn the ball over deep inside your own territory, even though you're up by 2 touchdowns.
You really don't want to have to punt the ball into the wind from deep in your own territory for sure. So, Garden City has successfully flipped the field because Hutchinson was way down knocking on the door just a couple of minutes ago.
Yep. Had it all the way to the 4. So here, Hutchinson with the offense. Chambers decides to keep it. Turns upfield, nothing there. And loss of about a yard on the play.
Textbook option defense that time demonstrated by the Garden City Buffaloes. When you play a team that runs the option, everybody has a certain responsibility on defense, and you have to do your job and trust your teammate to do his job. Garden City played it just right that time. 2nd and 11 from the 4 for Hutchinson, their own 4. Clock moving under 4 minutes now. 3:47 in the 3rd period of play. Hutch leading at 19-6. Hudson had a Dallas Chambers 79-yard run all the way down to the 1 that set it up a McEwen touchdown. And Rogers also scored. There's just about a opener up the middle. Barlow just about broke it away. He got the first down.
Took it all the way out for the first down. They'll mark it right at the 15. So 1st and 10, Hutchinson at the 15.
Another example of a well-blocked play. Hutchinson ran the option. Everybody did their job offensively that time, and Barlow got just a little bit of running room at the line of scrimmage, bursted through the hole, picked up 11 yards.
All right. Play comes in from the sideline. Hutchinson breaks huddle. They'll send a wide receiver right side. Twins to the right. Slot backs again, McEwen and Rogers. Give to Barlow. Straight away running. They roll it to the left side, and Barlow does not have the ball.
Chambers
kept it all the way up to the 25.
And do not feel bad about that, Glenn, because many Hutchinson High School football games on the option, the officials blow the play dead, and the guy that got tackled doesn't have the ball sometimes.
I know McEwen had it, but nice job by Chambers. All the way up to the 25-yard line. They'll move the chains 1st and 10.
That's part of the beauty of the flex-bone offense. It's hard for the defense to know who actually has the football.
All right. Hutchinson breaks huddle. Wide receivers this time on the left side. Man in motion. Keeps it on the outer perimeter and gain of about 1 to 1.5 on the carry.
Hutchinson went to the counter of that play, but Garden City stayed at home.
McEwen carried it on his own, 2:16 and counting. Ball at the 26. They pinched out about a yard on the carry, so 2nd down and 9 for Hutchinson. Salthawks break huddle. Newquist left side, out in a wide out position. Chambers, the quarterback. Play clock down to about 12. Now he sets it going. He's going to keep it on the outside. Elects to keep it himself. Cuts up against the grain. Dives forward across the 30 to about the 33-yard line. Very close.
Again, Dallas Chambers showing some maturity at the quarterback position because younger quarterbacks tend to just drift towards the sideline and don't pick up hardly any yards on that play, but he planted his foot and turned upfield.
It's 3rd and 3. When I said close, he was close to breaking it. If he could have got a little step, juked that last tackler. So 3rd and 3 facing the Hutchinson offense. Chambers gives off to Barlow, straight ahead running. I think he got the 3 yards and more. Now mark it up to the 38-yard line, 1st and 10. So Hutchinson doing a good job. They took over at their own 5, lost a yard, Dan, and now have worked their way forward just about the midfield. And what are they doing? They're also running some clock.
Kepler, Pennington, and Robinson are absolutely dominating the interior line of scrimmage at the center and the guard positions right now.
All right.
And give credit to the Hutchinson backfield also. They're blocking for each other well, and they're running hard.
1st and 10 on Hutch's 38-yard line. Doubles to the right side. A pitch down to McEwen. Doesn't have a prayer of a chance. Trying to turn it.
Fumbled.
Burns was right there. There's a fumble on the play, and McEwen's a little shaken up.
That's the second time tonight that Zane Burns has come up hard when he reads that rocket toss, got deep into the backfield and stopped the play before it could even get started.
Now, is this going to have to do, is there a hold over there, or are they saying a little excessive tackling? They're going to mark it off, I believe, against Hutchinson. Let's check it.
The flag came out pretty fast, so that would indicate a hold probably.
Referee's tucking it over on the far side. Holding. All against the Salthawks. It'd be declined because the loss on the play was significant.
That's because Zane Burns came up from his defensive back position. Zane Burns, 6 feet tall, 175 pounds. He's just a sophomore, but that's a couple of times tonight he's come up quickly to stuff.
Ball's on the 32. They've got to get to the 47 for a 1st down, so 2nd and 15 for Hutchinson.
Again, go with your core competencies.
Inside of 45 seconds.
Stick with what you do best offensively. You still got a couple of downs to pick up 15 yards.
And hang on to the football. Don't let a turnover turn into quick scores. Chambers sends a man in motion. Turns straight up and open a quick opener up to Barlow, up the middle of the field to the 42-yard line. Well, you got half of it right there. Nice little burst of speed up the middle to the 42. Again, he's got to get to the 47 for the 1st down, so 3rd down and 5.
That's smart football. Hutchinson stuck with what they do best. They picked up 10 yards. They have a manageable 3rd down situation, and now they're going to have the wind at their back.
Joe Blake, that was a nice burst right at the middle by Barlow.
Yes, it was, and it might set up something coming to the outside, coming up on 3rd and 5.
Jalen Barlow, a junior.
Into the 3rd quarter.
That is going to be the end of the 3rd quarter. We'll go to the 4th. Hutchinson with a 19-6 lead. We'll be back with more coming your way from Garden City High School. Dan Nacarado, Glenn Grunwalds. We'll be back on the Salthawks Sports Network right after this.
Always moving, never stagnant. Together, nothing great is ever accomplished without it. At Fee Insurance Group, we've been working side by side with our clients for more than a century. Together with individuals, organizations, and communities, we look ahead to protect the people, places, and things they love. We're Fee Insurance Group. Forward, together.
We go to the 4th. 19-6, Hutchinson on top. Salthawks have moved the football pretty well tonight. Dan Nacarado in a good, proficient way.
And they have secured the football. They have given themselves a chance to see how good a football team they really can be. I felt like all week long, they just don't know how good they are because they've turned the ball over so frequently up until this game. But right now, Hutchinson, 298 yards of total offense compared to just 97 yards for Garden City.
That's what I'm referencing. All right, Hutchinson left to right on this fourth quarter play to give straight up the middle, and a gain of about 3 yards on the play. We'll bring up a third down, and was it third down and 5? Brings up a fourth down situation for Hutchinson. And Garden City has a player very slow getting up, but he will be okay.
That's Oscar Yanes. Now, that's not spelled the same as our coach, Scott Yanes.
Different spelling.
Yanez. Oscar Yanes.
Hutchinson showing her going forward on 4th and 2 here. Salthawks might be trying to pull them off sides. And flag on the play, and we might have had that happen. I'm not sure. It might be.
That'll be against us.
Against us on a.
Now, Hutchinson will probably go ahead and punt with the wind at their back. Don't you think, Glenn?
Yep. False start on Hutchinson. And Hutchinson will punt the football away.
Okay, now just like in golf, when the wind's at your back, sometimes you have a tendency to try to swing too hard. As a punter, just kick it the same way you always do. And
let the wind do the work. Yeah.
That's right.
I always kicked the football straight up, Dan, so I could catch it. That made me not a very effective punter then.
It would be fantastic with the wind at your back.
But it would go straight up in the air. You know what I'm talking about? How you hold your toe up?
Let Mother Nature.
There you go. There's a nice kick by, and it's going to be fielded but out of bounds then by Garden City. That was a nice punt by Villarreal.
Yeah, that line of scrimmage was about the 40-yard line. Garden City's going to take over on their own 10, so that's a 50-yard net.
Well, that's a heck of a kick right there. So Hutchinson with a nice punt will set up Garden City now. 1st and 10 from their own 10. They're 90 yards away and facing the wind with 11:21 to go, down by 2 touchdowns, 19-6. Salthawk defense has played exceptional tonight. And the offense has moved the football when called upon. So Garden City, Costa still out there at QB. He'll run out of the shotgun, see who he has in his backfield. Jonas spins away from one Salthawk and finally making a nice stop on the outer perimeter over there, Jack Hopper.
Once again, a nice job of rallying to the football by that Hutchinson defense.
2nd down and 8, a pickup of 2 for Janus. They're taking a long time, very deliberate with their play calling, 19 on the play clock, and Dan explained how it's a 40-second play clock this year. Here's the snap to give to Janus again on the outside, trying to make something happen. He's up across the 20 to about the 21-yard line.
Tip your cap to Garden City. That was a nice job of blocking up front that time and creating an opening for Janus.
Picked up over 10 yards, so they'll be good enough for the first down. They'll move it right out to the 22. So 1st and 10 for the Broncos, for the Buffaloes on their own 22-yard line. I knew I was going to mix it up. Turn, give up the middle. Again, Janus on the carry, and he's doing the yeoman's work back there. Nice stop by the Salthawks, though.
Selden Jones came over from his outside linebacker position. Again, he's filling in for Junior Jaime, who had to come out of tonight's game. And Selden Jones had to run quite a long ways to make that tackle.
Get out of here. So now the split wideouts. They'll go with trips on the left side with slot formations. Pro set backfield with a man in motion now. They'll set up on the right side of Janus. And
I think that was an illegal
procedure.
Shift.
Yeah. Sideline Reports brought to you by Brown Shoe Fit. Brown Shoe Fit. Shoe Fit Experience, 410 East 30th, as well as Papa John's Pizza at 501 East 17th. Joe Blake, what's it look like down there? What's the attitude on the sideline?
Well, the attitude on the sideline is they want to put the nail in the coffin here. They want to finish this game, extend this lead, and hopefully go home with a victory tonight.
Makes that drive home a lot more fun when you have a win in your hip pocket.
All righty, here we get set. 2nd down and 9 from the 23 for the Buffaloes. Acosta, the quarterback, belt high snap to him. He wants to run it. He just gets airborne and then knocked down to the turf right at the 25. Maybe picked up a couple yards. Key 3rd down and 7 play right here where Salthawks can pin their ears back and come after him.
Selden Jones and David Waymeyer in on that tackle.
It's not a situation where Garden City has thrown the ball a lot tonight. They've connected on a couple. But the majority of the time it's been by the rush. Back in the shotgun again. Wideouts left and right. Trips on the near side. Again a flag. And timeout was taken. So we'll get a break in. Again, your score. With 8:56 to go in the 3rd period of play. It's the Salthawks 19, the Buffaloes 6. So we'll be back with more on the Salthawk Radio Network right after this.
Hi, Kansas. This is Jess at Pools Plus. Another great year at the Kansas State Fair has come and gone, and here at Pools Plus, we have decided to extend the fair sale on all of our in-stock spas and outdoor furniture through the end of September. We appreciate all of our loyal customers, and we strive on continuing to be the first choice in all of your pool, spa, and outdoor furniture needs. Come in and take advantage of the after-fair specials going on through September at Pools Plus, 21 East 1st in downtown Hutchinson.
All righty, welcome back. 4th quarter of action, 19-6. Hutchinson on top. Glenn Grunwald along with Dan Nacarado, Joe Blake on the sidelines, Sarah Peterson up on the video camera for Salthawk Sports.
We certainly hope she's still up there.
Yeah, I think so. It was a little windy earlier on.
The wind hasn't blown her off the top of the press box.
And Mark Atkins, back chief engineer tonight for the BW. By the way, you listen to Salthawk football on KWBW, Hutchinson, Kansas. Costa sends a man in motion. The turn, the double reverse. Going to throw it, a little flea flicker. Caught by Acosta, drop. Incomplete pass. All that work for an incomplete pass brings up 4th down and 7.
Even if Acosta came up with the catch, again, Acosta's the quarterback. He handed the ball off, and then that player pitched it to a teammate coming around from the other side, and then they threw it back to the original quarterback, Acosta. But even if he had made that catch,
it would have been short.
Maddox Hinahaw was all over it.
Yeah, how did it look from you down there, Joe? You're the closest to it.
Yeah, I tried to recreate the Philly special that the Philadelphia Eagles ran in the Super Bowl 52 against the Patriots.
Yeah, but this one was to...
Well, there was a pretty famous Nebraska Cornhusker team that ran that play pretty well, too.
Well, that one was not able to be completed. So now they'll punt the football away now. Novak throws a bad snap. It goes back to the 5-yard line. He's going to try to get it off. He does block. His loose ball, end zone, trying to get to it as they saw Hawk. And finally, I think it's still a loose ball. And will it be a safety?
Yes, it will.
It will be a safety.
Hunter Austin, I think, is the player that actually blocked the punt.
Hunter Austin and Selden Jones were putting pressure on him. I don't know which one actually got the ball, but they definitely put him under pressure and forced that ball out.
Hunter Austin with a lot of pressure back there. He caught up with it. The punter, Dvorak, caught up with it at about the 5. He tried to get it away. It was punted.
Hutchinson sent the extra point team out, but you don't get to kick an extra point.
No, you don't get to kick an extra point on the safety. He'll have to punt it away, so they'll get that together.
Hutchinson would rather have the 6 points
21 to 6 now. The safety counts as 2, and now in high school football or also college football, they'll need to punt it away or kick it away from the 20, so Hutchinson will get another possession. So
you look at that scoreboard and you see 21 to 6, and that seems like a fairly common football score, but a lot of people won't realize that was because of a safety.
Well, it looked to me like Hutchinson had a good opportunity maybe for a Salthawk to get on that football, but it just squirmed away, and it becomes like a greased pig out there sometimes.
I've never tried to.
That's the old farm boy in me coming out, Dan. So Hutchinson will receive the kickoff from the Garden City 20. and they will put it on the tee to kick it away. Now, you have the option if you want to punt it.
That's true, and most of the time teams do punt it, but since this is going into the wind, it probably makes more sense to kick it off of the tee.
You know, maybe we need to get a grease pig contest at BW.
I'm going to defer to your expertise.
That could be a lot of fun.
On
you
all matters of grease
You get those little weanlings, you know. They're little and they're squirmy, and you can just grease them up with Crisco, and you're good to go. There's a kick, and it's going to be fielded at the 38-foot, bounces forward. It's going to be a loose ball and out of bounds. I think it will be Salt Hawk football, but it took a crazy bump, bounce.
What a break for Hutchinson when that one went out of bounds, because it bounced off of his thigh pad so hard that it immediately went towards the goal line and
went toward Garden City and 45-yard line where Hutch will have it.
It was as good as a 10-yard kick return the way it turned out.
So Hutchinson ball 1st and 10 on their own 45-yard line with 8:44 to go in the contest. One of these two teams will get a W tonight. The other one will be 0-3 and will be searching for somewhat of an identity. With 8:44 to go, Hutchinson right now in good shape, leading it 21-6. Hutchinson, full house backfield with the slot backs up there. They'll send the slot in motion. McEwen turn to give first man. Actually, Chambers keeps it. Very deceptive. Carries forward for a pickup of 3 yards. 2nd down and 7.
Okay, look for Hutchinson to call plays that they feel very confident in, because with the clock running at this point in the fourth quarter, Hutchinson does have a 15-point lead. Now, that's not quite a big enough lead just to sit on. You still want to move the ball.
Yeah, that's a 2-touchdown lead with a couple, maybe one of them being a 2-point conversion. So they'll split a wide out right side to Newquist.
But you definitely just want to secure the football in this situation.
Tight end set on the right side this time. Chambers keeps it, and he's corralled at about the 47-yard line of Garden City. It's going to be about 2 yards short, so 3rd down and 2.
That was a solid tackle by Paul Perez, one of the captains for Garden City. The 200-pound senior did a nice job of wrapping up Chambers, and Chambers did a good job of picking up enough yards to put him in a 3rd and short.
All right, 7:40 to go. Again here in the fourth quarter. Hutch up 21-6. Hutchinson jumped out on top, 6-0. Point after touchdown was not any good. And Garden City came back to tied at 6. Same thing happened. Point after not any good. And Hutchinson was able to lose football on the turf. Garden City picks it up, and they're going to return it. 40, 35. They're going to be tackled at about the 30-yard line.
The one thing that Hutchinson definitely did not want to do, fumble the ball away. They ran the option, and the ball got a little bit loose in the mesh. Garden City scooped it up, and that was a fantastic job.
Rogers got
by
back
Rogers to get back.
Tackle.
If Rogers doesn't make that tackle, it's 6 points for Garden City.
And that makes it a little precarious out there. So Hutchinson now coughs up the football, so Garden City will have possession with 7:12 to go, down 21-6. Ball on their own 32-yard line, or no, the Hutch 32-yard line. Acosta gives away. Jonas, the ball carrier, rolls his way across the 30 all the way down, very close to the 22-yard line. Picked up 9, 2nd down and 1. Tell you what, I've been impressed with this young man. Runs the ball well. Joshua Janis. He is a sophomore, 5'9", 160.
Been averaging about 85 yards a game rushing.
Gives it back though on the outside this time. Has some room. Left side. Touchdown Garden City from 23 yards out.
This game is not over.
And 2nd down and 1. An easy touchdown for Garden City to make it 21-12. Now, do you go for 2 here or do you wait?
I would go for 2.
I think so too. Joe, what's your thoughts in this situation?
I actually think that you go for the extra point here. That way, if you don't get the 2-point conversion,
you can think about it later.
Yeah, then if you don't get it, you're down by 9. If you do get the extra point, you're down 8, and still leave a chance when you score the next.
Looks like they're going to kick the extra point. Thank you, Joe. Joe's comments brought to you by Brown Shoe Fit.
I'm a little more aggressive. I'd just go for 2 points both times.
And Papa John's Pizza. All right, they'll line up to kick the football. That'll be DeBoric. There's the hold. The kick is up and on its way, and it is not any good.
I think they should have gone for 2.
And that's why they should have went for 2, Joe. 21-12. Hutchinson regains possession. They'll get it back after the Garden City kickoff. Return back here after the Garden City kickoff. 6:42 to go in the contest. A little tighter. Hutchinson 21, Buffalo's 12. We'll be back for the Buffalo kickoff on the Salt Hawk Radio Network.
Hutchinson High School Sports is on the air thanks to these outstanding Salt Hawk boosters. Portfolio Recovery Associates, The Shirt Shack, where the shirt hits the fans. Randy Smith of Appalachian Animal Hospital. Ryan and Robin Swanson of Phoenix Restoration. Kathy McCormick of Wynn Insurance Group. Reno Alcohol and Drug Counseling Services. The Hutchinson Clinic. Chick-fil-A. Salon B. I Need a Cleaners. And Jackson Meat. Hutchinson High School and Eagle Radio Sports say thank you for your support.
12. Hutchinson with the lead. Garden City will kick it off. Look for an onside here. Hutchinson needs to take care of the football, Dan, and just grind it out here. And Dvorak's going to kick it off, so let's see if it's going to be a punt away or not.
Ball blew off the tee, so that wind must still be blowing pretty hard.
Got one fan out there, Steve Carpenter, Sports Information Director at Hutchinson
I guarantee you Steve Carpenter is familiar with that Nebraska Cornhusker.
Here comes the kick. It's going to be a straightaway kick. Be taken by the Salt Hawks at the 15. Kind of turn the corner. McEwen gets gathered in, and a whole host of Buffaloes gather him in, and right at the 24-yard line. So 1st and 10 for the Salt Hawks with 6:34 to go. Steve's going to be watching earnestly as the Cornhuskers travel up to Illinois tomorrow to take on Illinois.
No Blue Dragon football tomorrow. It's a bye week.
He's got a day off.
So,
he's working volleyball this weekend. Right. But, by the way, some good volleyball action out at the arena if you want to go out there. Navarro's in the house, and the Blue Dragons, and also several other good teams as well are in for that tournament.
I think the Blue Dragons play at 11-5 tomorrow, if I remember. I might be a little bit off on that. Coach Steve Carpenter will correct me if I got that wrong.
All right, to give. First man through. Chambers gives it off. I believe that was McEwen or Rogers. Rogers coming around from that right slot.
Nice gain on first down.
Moves it about 6 yards. We'll say it's 2nd down and 5 to be conservative.
Blue Dragon women's football. Some people call it soccer. I like to call it women's football. They're in action, I think, at Pratt tomorrow.
Tell you what, the Blue Dragon volleyball had 12 games in 14 days facing them. That's a grind.
Hutchinson Salt Hawk graduate Morgan Armbrust on that Blue Dragon volleyball team.
All right, here we go. Chambers, the quarterback, down under center. Gives first man through and carried forward for a couple yards. Needed 5 and got maybe 2.
Grind it out. Salt Hawks want to grind it out. Take time off the clock.
Yeah, McEwen the ball carrier.
Possession. We got 5 minutes, 30 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter.
Coach Vernon playing keep away football right now.
Can I just give a brief explanation of why I would have gone for 2 on that? If you're Garden City, an extra point into the wind in high school is not a 98% probability of being successful.
Makes sense.
I'll just leave it at that.
There we go. Dallas Chambers leads them up. 3rd down and 2. Carries forward. Hutchinson has the first down across the 35. They'll move the chains. Barlow on the ball carrier. Tell you what, you need 2 yards. You know Barlow's going to get it for you. I think he's going to break one of these days. He shows great speed. And he's came so close on a couple plays when he gets into the second line of defense.
Again, the Hutchinson Salt Hawk backfield has been very solid. Pretty good rotation of running backs blocking for one another and carrying the ball very well.
They'll get set to break huddle here in just a second, letting that play clock wind down. Caden Pennington's done a really good job at the center position. And you got Fan on the outside as well.
Fan, the 300-pounder at right tackle.
Robinson. Go over that right side.
Good offensive line.
Chambers The turn to get to McEwen. McEwen slices through, has some room, 40 up to about the 44 before they come in and break him down. And nice job on first down. Picks up some big yardage.
Gain of 9 on first down.
And
gives
you'll
you
take
a lot
that.
of options.
You have second down and 1. You have what Dan just indicated, a lot of options to play. Plus, you're looking at the clock at the 4:08 mark. Hutchinson just trying to grind this one out. They lead at 21 to 12. Last 2 points were a safety for the Salthawks.
Blocked punt. Blocked. The snap was bad on the punt, and for Garden City, Hutchinson blocked it.
Chambers down under center. Pennington the center. Man in motion is McEwen. Gives to Barlow, but he's going to be stacked up. And ball might have popped loose. I think Chambers hung on to it. Tried to pull it out maybe. That gets a little tricky inside there. I think Barlow actually had it. Carries it forward to the 45. Gain of about a half a yard. Third down, and we'll call it 1.
This is where I would run quarterback sneak on first sound. We were talking about that on the drive up here. I think Joe Blake agreed that this would be a great situation for a quick quarterback sneak.
Volleyball and soccer at 11-3 for volleyball and soccer at 6 against Pratt is my text back. And
what was the time again?
It was. Let me get back to it.
I'm sorry.
11-3 for volleyball and soccer at 6 against Pratt. Thank you, Steve. Steve Carpenter, Sports Information Director at Hutchinson Community College. To get to McEwen, slices inside. He's going to be met with a big defensive front, and I don't think Hutch got it. It's really close.
All depends on where the officials mark this one.
They'll mark it right at the 45.
Garden City's going to take a timeout.
Garden City's going to take a timeout, so we'll get a break in. We'll be back with more from Garden City. 2:51 to go in the contest. 21-12. Don't go away. Garden City's going to get the ball. Fourth down and 1. We'll be back with more on the Salt Hawk Radio Network.
Hutchinson Community College and Blue Dragon Athletics are proud to support Hutchinson Salt Hawk football. Whether you're working towards your degree or a busy working individual with limited time to attend class, Hutch CC has what you're looking for. And for those still in high school, Hutchinson Community College's Step Ahead program provides a head start on a quality education, and it may not cost the student anything. Visit hutchcc.edu or call 888-GO-HUTCH for more details. And good luck this season to the Salt Hawks.
So, Hutchinson leading Garden City, 21-12. Glenn Grunwald, Dan Nacarado, Joe Blake, along with Sarah Peterson on the video. Got a fourth quarter score for you. Final score, actually, El Saline 34, Trinity Catholic 0. And also Central Plains, a winner over Kinsley, 55-6. No others close to home, so one would be that Trinity Catholic score. Hutch going to go for it on fourth down. Salt Hawks stack it up. Turn, give straight away. I think they've got the first down. Needed a yard, and I believe they got a yard. There's Barlow. No, it looked like Cantu. Cantu on the carry. Got the first down. That's a big one. That should just about do it with 2:48 to go. And they'll move the chains and start the clock again. Dan, a big first down on 3 tries there. After the initial 9-yard pickup by the Salt Hawks, were able to punch it to Cantu and carried nicely. Needed one and got it 1.5.
Good, solid offensive play to pick up that first down.
All right, Chambers on the center, the turn, to give to Rogers, slides away and double clutches and heads up, picks up about a yard.
Most importantly, he secured the football.
Yeah, he did secure the football. They're coming at him. They kind of flew by him when I said double clutches is because he stopped and then he started again. Gain of about a yard on the play.
Excellent job finishing off this game in the fourth quarter.
Clock nearing the 2-minute mark. 2:02, 2:01, clock moving away. Play clock at 21, so by the time you snap this one, it's going to be about 1:40 to go. Pennington leads them up to the line of scrimmage. Again, they're just taking their time. Play clock at 7. Now it's down to 6, 1:44 to go. There's the snap. Gives straight away, and Barlow stood straight up. Now check that Cantu again, the ball carrier. No gain on the play.
Got to give some credit to Garden City because even though this game appears to be pretty much over, their guys are still playing hard.
It's a 9-point difference, so they need a touchdown and a 2-point conversion plus a prayer.
All right.
But stranger things have happened. So now at 1:12, 16 on the play clock, winding down. It's going to be under a minute by the time Hutchinson snaps his 3rd down and 9 call.
Hutchinson's probably going to wait until there's 1 second on the play clock and then take a timeout. Which gives me a chance again to clean up my mistake about Blue Dragon Sports tomorrow. Again, that's volleyball at 11 and 3 at the Sports Arena.
Soccer at 6.
And that is in Hutchinson. Soccer is in Hutchinson at 6.
Quick timeout. So we're going to go down on the sideline. Joe's comments brought to you by Brown Shoe Fit at 410 East 30th. Shoe Fit Experience at Brown's, 663-6991. And Papa John's Pizza, 501 East 17th Street, 665-7272. And Joe, a good effort by the Salt Hawks. They got the quick score. Garden City came back, tied it. Neither one of them got the extra points down. And then Hutchinson just running the football well and not turning the ball over till late in the game. And right now it hadn't hurt them that bad.
Yeah, I think the game really turned when we scored with under 30 seconds left in the first half and then got the ball back at the start of the second half and scored 13 points without Garden City even touching the ball, really.
Good point, no doubt about that. Fourth quarter score, by the way, Mountain Ridge 38, Solomon 32. Heston was leading Pratt earlier as well. We'll try to run down some other scores if possible. 55.2 seconds remaining to go in the ball game, and Hudson will have a 3rd down and 9 call. There's the pitch on the outside.
Stay in bounds.
Trying to stay in bounds, goes up forward, loses about 2 yards on the play, maybe 3. It's going to bring up a 4th down and 11. Clock is stopped with 46.4 to go.
Timeout, Garden City.
And we're going to get a break in as well. So Hutchinson leading 21-12, 46.4 seconds to go in the contest. Dan and I'll be back with more on the Salt Hawk Radio Network.
The medicine shop. When you drop your prescriptions off, the personal care you'll find there will make you feel all better. The meds you need delivered with speed. The lowest prices guaranteed. Get your prescriptions with no hassle at 14th and Main at the Little White Castle. You'll feel all better at the medicine shop.
46.4 seconds remaining to go in this contest. 21-12. Hutchinson on top of the Garden City Buffaloes. Buffaloes came into Gowans last year. It was right around, I think it was October 11th or 12th, and Hutchinson came out with the win there. So Broncbusters traveled to Valley Center last week and lost. Hutchinson with the maize and lost. Right here, 47.6 seconds to go. Hutchinson will get set to punt the football from the 45. Villarreal back to punt. Garden City will have an up back setting at the 15. Punt's going to go out of bounds, or check that all the way down.
Stayed in, I think, all the way into the end zone.
Yeah, all the way to the end zone.
That's
so it'll be a
okay.
touchback. So, hardly any time off the clock. 42.2 to go. Garden City will take over possession. And we'll have the football, but they're a long ways away, 80 yards away from pay dirt. Plus, like I said, they're going to need a little break. But that's why you play it all the way out. Hutchinson at home against Salinas Central next Friday night. Next 2 Friday nights, Hutchinson with a home date. Not a lot of home dates, only 4 this year, unless they're able to garner one in playoffs. So come on out and see the Salt Hawks. Acosta, still the quarterback. Waist-high snap, wants to throw the football, now he tucks it away, and he'll be thrown to the turf. Little or no gain out of the play. Maybe a pickup of about a yard. Good hustle by the Salt Hawks with the stop out there done by McIntyre. Noah McIntyre coming up. And Phillips was out there doing a good job as well. Back to pass, Acosta. Right side, incomplete pass. Intended receiver for Garden City was Durst. So nothing's worked for Garden City. 18.7 seconds to go. Now 3rd down and 9. They've had a tough time throwing the football, Dan.
The Hutchinson defense has been very good.
Chambers has scored a touchdown, and Janis answered back. McEwen then got another TD after the big run by Chambers to set it up. Here's a long pass by Acosta, out of bounds, incomplete. Brings up a 4th down and 9 from the 21. So Garden City basically one more snap with 14.8 to go, and show the attitude on the sidelines. I think most of the Salt Hawks know they're going to get their first victory of the year.
Yeah, they know that 3-hour bus ride on the way back is going to be a good one.
It's going to be a lot nicer, and so's our ride back as well. And the windy conditions starting to die down a little bit here. Not a lot. The flags on the far side still at full force. Acosta still back in the shotgun. Gets the snap a little low, but he rolls to his right side, wants to throw the football, and he does. Catch is made by Durst on the far side, and he's knocked out of bounds just at the 42-yard line. Should move the chains 1st and 10. So Durst made the catch over there out of the flat and made the catch. Keeps it alive with 8.9 seconds to go, 1st and 10, Garden City. But like I said, they need 9 points, and there's not a 9-point play out there unless you get a touchdown, a 2-point conversion, and then get an onside kick and try to get something that way. Acosta wearing number 4. Low snap this time. It rolls back to his left side, wants to throw it. Right-hander floats it up, just about picked off, in and out of Durst's hands. And closest Salt Hawk to it was Sheldon Jones. He dove for it, but wasn't able to get to it. Brings up a 2nd down and 10 for the Buffaloes. Ball on their 42. So now the crowd on the far side, most of the Garden City fans have started to head home. Band still here in full force. They're loyal to their team. Back to pass to Costa. Looks up, throws it. Ball juggled a little bit by Rays and finally caught at about the 40, and that'll do it. Your final score from Garden City. It's Hutchinson 21, the Buffaloes 12. Salt Hawks come out with a big win tonight on the road in Garden City and win their first game of the year. We're going to take a quick 2-minute timeout. Get set for the Medicine Shop postgame capsule brought to you by that Medicine Shop at 14th and Main. More coming your way on the Salt Hawk Radio Network in 2 minutes.
Are you ready for a new smartphone, but you need a +1? It's buy one, get one free time at Next Tech Wireless.